Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gamescom for the 4 regional finals, our second 4 regional finals for Heroes of the Storm. It is now time to introduce you to 2 teams for our second semi-final. Now, I just want to check that you guys are ready for this, because the first semi-final was great and we were looking forward to it, but this second one is highly anticipated. Are you guys ready? I don't know. That was pretty average, I've got to tell you. And I'm pretty sure you can do better. Are you ready? See, that's more like it. Okay, we'll bring the teams out. First up, our team are absolutely on the verge of BlizzCon, but they've got so much work in front of them. They have to win this game, and they have to win the final if they're going to get there, for sure. But they could get there a slightly different way. We'll discuss that a little bit later on. They are under the cosh. They were great yesterday in Group B, though. They are the favourites for the championship. Let's make sure they give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Misfits. And they go head-to-head with a team they know very well. Every time these 2 teams meet, it's always great. We're expecting nothing less. Their opponents are a team who are also used to getting to the final, although they're still short of a regional championship. They want to make amends for that right here at Gamescom. Please welcome Fnatic. Okay, let's get some final thoughts from our panel. Kendrick, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Paul. And man, what a best of 5 this is going to be. 2 of the biggest names in Europe that we currently have. The Misfits, formerly known as Mind Sanity, the German powerhouse, if you will, playing on home turf here, after all, here at Gamescom Cologne. And welcome, Gilly, by the way, to the panel. How are you doing?
Thank you. I am really excited to be here. Had a great last match. Yep. 3-1, not the 3-0 that I think a lot of people expected. The Jabronis really putting on a show, but Team Dignitas still showing they're a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, and I mean, we've seen plenty of cool heroes making an appearance for the first time today. Tracer, for example, really always a guarantee for fancy plays. But speaking of fancy plays, I mean, Misfits and Fnatic, they're also going to come up with crazy strategies, especially Misfits, who are always, you know, one of the trendsetters in Europe. They always come up with a hero that we haven't really seen as frequently in the meta before. What can we expect here, JR? What do you think?
I think you can expect the unexpected. I'm really curious if
Tychus, maybe, yeah.
If Misfits is going to carry over the Tychus. You know, I'm not from Europe and I don't follow football, aka soccer, where I'm from. But it's almost like if you take the 2 top teams in the world or the country or Europe or wherever you're at, and you get to watch them, except I'm here at Gamescom and I get a front row seat. And that's awesome. These guys, I don't care what they pick. This is going to be, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 5-game set, guys.
You get a front row seat backstage, but you get to see firsthand what these guys do. And both of them have been so impressive. Dignitas, the other, I guess, top 3 teams in Europe. And I guess with these last few matches here, we get to find out what's the ranking within those 3 teams. Which one's the best, which one's second best and third best. And we get to find out who else is going to represent Europe over at BlizzCon, which is very important. As a proud European that I am here, I want to see which one of these guys can play the best and go there and represent us.
And of course, the whole world is watching this European tournament. So to introduce those teams a little bit more to you guys out there, let's actually take a look at how Misfits and Fnatic prepared themselves for this tournament.
The group stage was actually really tough for us. I don't think we ever played this bad in a group stage, honestly. We've never been this close to losing a group stage. It's a big relief, because honestly, I'm kind of ashamed of how we played. We always make it to semis kind of easy, and this time it was actually hard. I'm really happy we made it, obviously. Anything else would have been a disaster. If we gather together and talk and work out some strategies for the semis, I feel confident. We have the strongest individual team, maybe together with Dignitas. I really feel good about the semis, and I think we have a good shot.
It's going to be a hard game for sure. We didn't scrim them that much, so we don't have that many information. Overall, we are well prepared, better than last time. Last time we lost to them in the semis. This time we have the edge, and I think we can beat them. their weak side is actually that they don't perform that well offline. Our best side is that we perform well on LAN. I think that will be the edge which gives us the win in the end over them. We are the same squad as always. We know everyone is good. We just work together well and we just want to stick together. We like each other.
And we hear that the Misfits, they're looking confident here. And we almost forgot to talk about one thing when, of course, we're referring to the Misfits. They've got a seasoned veteran and esports legend like HotS in their team who knows how to play on those big stages. And they have a calm and collected drafter, Splendor.
I don't think a seasoned veteran does justice to what HotS is. He's a Blizzard Games specialist.
Absolutely.
He was one of the best on Warcraft 3, on StarCraft 2, was pretty competitive in Hearthstone, and now he's owning people in Heroes of the Storm. Like this guy, no matter what game Blizzard makes, he's gonna play it. He's gonna be really good at it. So much years of experience, multiple champion over in Germany, and now he gets to lead here, a team of Germans in a search of greatness on Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, and you know, one of Misfits' strengths, their really good performances at offline tournaments could be one of the weaknesses for Fnatic because their nerves often get to them. And many people say that the only team that can beat Fnatic is oftentimes themselves.
Yeah, I don't really agree with what I think it was Brumby was saying of Fnatic not playing as well offline. I mean, the last tournaments, they were the finalists against Dignitas, and it was a very close series. Some say they should have won as well, so...
It was, but their first day, they did struggle. And one of the things that I noticed from them in looking back is a lot of the heroes that they were focusing on were heroes that overall are not doing well at this tournament. So whether it's that they haven't quite adapted to this meta, or they just weren't playing well, they had a hard time getting to the point that we're at, whereas Misfits, the only team not to drop a single game their whole way through to this semifinal.
Yeah, but let's actually get focused here on this first draft taking place on Sky Temple. Turiel being picked, this time he did not get banned. Very interesting. Zagar and Illidan instead. Illidan, he used to be one of the bans for a very long time here, but strangely making a first appearance toward.
Well, Illidan was picked up by Misfits on Sky Temple yesterday. They ran it with a Tychus, and they actually struggled with it a little bit, and it wasn't until later in the game they were able to make some plays. But what Fnatic does love to run, especially when you leave it open on such a large map, Falstad, and they're securing that Murd on the front line. I'm curious if Misfits, now with the open availability, if they'll be looking at something like Greymane.
Especially because the classic Greymane composition requires somebody to baby him, but Tychus has been doing fantastically this event, and that was something that Misfits played in every single one of their games yesterday, so it makes perfect sense why they would want to pick him up here, discouraging potentially a double warrior from Fnatic.
And they ran a Sonya with it as well a couple times.
Sonya Li Ming is the likely two. It's a comp that they've made very popular this weekend, or this week. They've been Tychus every single game.
Every game.
Every game. It's
and they haven't dropped a map, so it works
It's
very
like they
well.
know something we don't, right? Kind of like, actually back then, I think it was when HotS was on Roccat with a different lineup. That was Leoric. They were the first team that said Leoric is a super good hero. We're going to use it every single game. They did very well back then.
Same with Nara.
Introduced them to the meta and showed everybody how good these were. And now we see bans on Greymane and Li Ming following this.
Li Ming was a hero that Fnatic was winning with when we saw them win games in day number 1.
Schwimpy went to town yesterday on that hero. Good point, Gilly.
Greymane also banned out if there's the potential that Misfits want to add Greymane, again, because they have Tyrael and can make him invulnerable. Fnatic don't want to let that happen. They don't want him to start snowballing and getting kills. Fnatic going to grab Sylvanas, so if they win some team fights, they can take down structures and let the temples do more damage to higher priority things like forts and keeps.
Right. So we see Tyrael being locked in here. Tyrael, one of the most banned heroes in this entire tournament. JL, can you talk to us, like, how do you play against a comp that has that sanctification at their disposal? What would you do?
You pick, I guess you go to Tychus. It kind of threw me off there. I mean, it's not so much what you can do against Tyrael. Obviously, he enables a lot. You know, he's able to dive. He's able, even when he dies, he's still a threat. I think there's a lot to what he brings to the table. And I don't know if it's necessarily something you always want to try and get against Tyrael. If you can bait out something like a Sanctification, that always works on your favor. But if you let them push against you and you have a Tyrael and you have a team behind it that allows them to push in and they're able to shield themselves and they're able to get the Sanctification, it makes it much more difficult. So it almost works to have equal or more aggression. And I love the fact that they picked up Sylvanas fourth. They're leaving that last one for a little bit of a flexibility. And there's the Sonya you talked about, Todd.
Yeah, and basically to summarize what J.O. just said, it's very hard to play against Sanctification and Tierra, which is the main reason we saw this guy getting banned so often, so early, but now they're gonna have to face it. And there is no way Fnatic hadn't planned for this. Like, they knew that if they went for the bans that they went for, there was a good chance they were gonna play against TRL, so they must have some sort of plan to, I guess, properly deal with this. Maybe disengage and then re-engage.
Yeah, with Mighty Gust, you can try to do that or even bait out Sanctification. But there's one final note I'd like to add for this, is the note that I mentioned before. Fnatic prioritizing heroes that are not doing well at this event. It's small sample size, and of course, play matters so much in that too. But Falstad, Sylvanas, Muradin, Karazim, not great win rates here. And it's up to their play, especially because Misfits have a lot of heroes that they've already been wrecking with.
I feel like that last one, I want to go back to the Sylvanas pick there as opposed to something else. It fits it right into what they want, but they left that last pick to be a little bit more flexible. The minute they see Sonya on board, it allows them to go into a hero like Leoric. If we didn't see Sonya on the other side, we might be looking at a different hero. So nice drafting, I think, from Fnatic.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned Karazim, Gilly. No matter what heroic ability was chosen, Seven-Sided Strike or Divine Palm, Karazim really struggled a little bit to keep people alive or to take targets down. And he still is, nevertheless, one of the most contested supports. It's a little bit of an awkward position where Karazim is currently in.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that too, because if you don't get Rhaegar, you want to get Karazim, but it's clear that Rhaegar is absolutely, without a doubt, the highest priority. Because, like you said, no matter what heroic he picks, he's not finding success for teams a lot of times.
There is a lot of comfort picks on both sides, by the way. You know, they've Misfits, they have their Sonya and Tychus, but on the other side, Quacknix only plays Falstad, basically. Yeah. And then Muradin, I guess, is going to be played by Breeze. Like, these guys, it's crazy the amount of their favorite hero they get to play every single time they come out in these tournaments.
Yeah, and of course now if we focus on the support players a little bit here, coming in from Misfits and Fnatic, we see Smexy, who is considered to be the new king of supports in Europe right now. He has had fantastic plays over and over again, whereas Splendor was really strong during the summer season. So it's going to be really interesting to see like how the balance of power in the support ranks here has shifted a little bit.
When we talk about Murdy and talk about the comfort pick, and I take a look down at the notes here for Breeze, it's his most played hero, and he has a higher win percentage by almost 15 percentage points over all other warriors that he plays. So it's definitely a comfort pick. It's also something that they excel with.
You're right, I think, Kendrick. Like, the support, they don't always get enough credits. Yeah. Whichever team is doing best, usually their support are playing very well. Back to, you know, the Navi days, Splendor was fantastic. And then it was Bakery on Dignitas that has all these crazy palms that was really showing everybody how good Karazim was. So the performance here of the support is obviously going to be very important. We've seen a few actions, you know, where a palm was missed or an ancestral, and that changed the entire game. So very important for them to be on point here.
On the flip side, though, we also have incredibly powerful assassins on both sides. Quacknix have always been one of those star players on those false stats, on those gray mains. On the flip side, though, Hazuups, especially on false stat. It could also be like a duel of the false stat here as well, Jay. I know you have got good numbers on both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that is so baffling, now obviously Muradin's received some changes, but Breeze has one of the highest KDAs in Europe as a tank. That's not something you see every day. Now, obviously, if you're playing Muradin, especially Muradin when he was still unstoppable during the Dwarf Toss, that helps a lot. But it still shows that he knows when to be in and when to be out, because it enables the rest of his team, because the stats across the board look good, but Breeze in particular, it's something
we see him on screen right now.
Yeah, there's Breeze right there.
I'm sure his team knows as well, because he screams pretty loud during those games. I actually wonder what his audio comms sound like. Imagine. Must be pretty scary. It
is very important that Quacknix is on Falstad, because Falstad and Greymane, I feel like the ones we see, and then at the last event in Valencia, a lot of Lunara play. But
right.
it still, to me, feels like it's Falstad, and when they have that, they're already whatever else they draft is like, okay, Quagnix is happy. We're going to have some aggressive Gus. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, keep in mind, guys, that this, once again, is a best of 5. So we will have multiple chances to actually determine and see who's going to come out on top. And especially if you take a look at the map pool or the battleground pool here, the second one is going to be Infernal Shrines. Kerrigan, Diablo, Bloomby, back then in the days, used to play a lot of Diablo. So I'm really looking forward to see what both teams, in the end, will be able to pull out.
It's a favorite battleground of Misfits. We were seeing them pick it before. It will be their pick, as evidenced by Fnatic having this one.
Yep.
But a battleground that Fnatic struggled on their first day. Even Seeks of Kerrigan play from them that didn't quite work out.
I think of Infernal, I think of Misfits, I think of Tychus. You can't ban out, you don't want to first ban Tychus. You can't necessarily pick it up if you're Fnatic because it's not a hero that you play a lot. So it already plays, just future looking, it's always something that goes right to Misfits. So you know, there's a lot of good stuff, but Sky Temple, it's going to come down to the play of Falstad. Obviously, a first pick Tyrael allows you to get Falstad, so yeah, you have to be able to take advantage of that. If you don't take advantage of your rotations, you don't take advantage of Opportune, Mighty Gust, and we see Leoric that's going to be there as well. Those are things you have to capitalize on.
Sonya as well, we saw her in that draft, has had a little bit of a resurgence. She was, for the most part, ignored over the first couple of days, but now she's finally back, and having someone like a Tyrael at her side can really unleash her full potential.
When I look at these compositions, I see Entomb, Mighty Gust versus Sanctification, and what is going to work out at the beginning of the fight. Wailing Arrow too, if they can set that up so that he can't use Sanctification and they do get the kill from that, it could be a very good setup for Fnatic.
I just want to note quickly, by the way, a while back, G2 and Team Liquid, they were the 2 best European teams. They all spoke the same language, all Spanish and then all Polish on G2. Nowadays, it seems a lot more like wherever you come from, you don't have to speak the same language. Just communicating in English, even if you're not native speaker, a lot of those teams have been able to do well.
Like Misfits.
Yeah,
like they have 4 Germans and 1 Bulgarian.
Yeah, and in this case, Fnatic finally, you know, again, one of those teams where they're all going to speak the same language. Yeah, I would love to see them do well, you know, and I guess kind of prove that, you know, that can be one of those advantages that you can have over the guys, you know, that don't necessarily speak English as first language.
An extra synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since the addition of Wooby, when he left Team Dignitas and joined Fnatic, like the team really looked differently. They looked stronger, they looked more confident. Wooby, of course, also a very crucial backbone here for Fnatic, doing a lot of the drafting and shot calling in the middle of the game. Like, one cannot stress enough. Like, people always say, you know, Heroes of the Storm is a game that's decided by 5 players, but one individual person can really have a big impact as well.
There is also a saying that says, a team is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yes,
so
true.
If there is no weakest link, obviously they're going to be able to do well. And so far, these guys have looked fantastic.
Absolutely. And
speaking of looking at him, fantastic. Look at the crowd.
You guys, by the way, when you see the viewers out there, you just got to pay attention to those cool blue Heroes of the Storm glasses, man. I got one at the desk as well. I'm just waiting to
put them on.
Receive green light to pull it out.
We give you the green light. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Jay. How you are my commander-in-chief.
Just pretend there's nobody else in your ear.
Right. Okay, guys.
Didn't stop you last time, did it?
Misfits, by the way, is a new organization that entered Heroes of the Storm recently with the addition, of course, of the former Mind Sandy roster.
If you want to pick up a team and make a name for yourself right away, pick up a top 4 team in the world that just finished Summer Globals in June as the 4th place team. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. And you know what's also pretty good? I mean, the casters are ready, the players are ready. So without further ado, guys, give it up for Dreadnought and Kaldor.
Hell yeah, we're ready. Game number 1 in the second semifinal. The first one was already a blast, and this one is going to be crazy.
No, it's going to be absolutely fantastic having 2 of the best teams in the entire European scene fighting for that last slot for the BlizzCon. It's going to be a doozy.
It's going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, we saw a lot of banter during the entire weekend between the 2 teams. Fnatic, of course, struggling a bit in the group stage itself. Misfits, on the other hand, with fantastic play so far. And they have such a good comp for this game.
Yeah, they have, and they've exactly what they want, right? Like, they have a lot of the heroes that are good in the meta, but then also to their play style. But we are going to be getting into game number 1 here, ladies and gentlemen. On the left-hand side, we will have Misfits. We're going to have Nurok on the Tychus, Hasuwaltz playing Jaina, Blumby on the Tyrael, Darkmok playing the Sonya, and Splendor on the Rhaegar.
And of course, Fnatic here once again with Smexy on Karazim. We have Bobby this time on Leoric. Quapnix back on his false set, where he's at that front line with Muradin, and Schwimpy is playing Sylvanas in this first game.
It's going to be awesome here. Sylvanas is on the right-hand side here for Fnatic, so we know we can expect them to be looking to try and get some structures right out of the gates. See how the response there from Misfits is going to be able to play out. I think they're going to have a safe response here, as they're already posturing for a 2-1-2.
Yeah, and Misfits have a fantastic composition for fighting here later on. That Rhaegar synergizing, of course, with the Sonya. They've been playing Tychus in nearly every game so far, and they get massive value out of him. They played him in the past already a bit, but this tournament is really where Tychus had his breakout performance for the team. They play him whenever they can, and it goes so far that we can actually expect the ban against him soon enough, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I was surprised we even let this series, like, that Tychus got the let through for the side of Misfits, and it was something, in the words of BKB, they're going to early pick Tychus and then they're going to outdraft you, is how he kind of worded it. It's just, they'll just take the Tychus and the rest of the draft is theirs.
And this is exactly what happened so far. Fnatic, on the other hand, looked very happy with their draft here. That last pick on the Leoric was a bit interesting. We kind of expected, if they wanted to go into the double warrior, maybe even an Uberak here, they decided in favor of Leoric, who's going to have a bit of a rough time, I feel, staying alive in these fights.
Yeah, I feel like Fnatic and Dignitas overall have kind of carried over the drafts and compositions that they were successful with at Valencia and had almost little to no adjustments, whereas Misfits, they were on the Tracer hype. It didn't work out so well for them, and they come back with this completely different approach. Tychus is the concentration, but I don't think that's the end of it. Once we see the Tychus banned out, I think they expect it, and they have a backup plan as well. They have shown great diversity here over the two regionals.
They definitely do. They are known as one of the teams that has the highest hero pool, and of course they've shown it in the past. We were talking about a couple of heroes like Lunara, for example. They have 3 players that can play it, so you're never in a situation where you see a hero picked in draft and you immediately know which player is going to play it, and you can't make any kind of like decisions on how you wanted to draft to just try and limit their options there. They have way too many, and they are going to show everything here because they want that spot at BlizzCon.
Yeah, and already, again, talking about the 2-1-2 response for the side of Misfits will make it to where Fnatic's not able to get that sweet, sweet free turret XP out the gates. Keeping Sonya on the upper half of the map, though, as an adaptation of that situation, this is something we don't typically see. Expecting a 4-1 rotation then out of Misfits here between mid and bottom, and that's what we see.
Yeah, so far we have up at the top lane now the Leora going up against the Sonya. Falstead going for the auto attack build is currently part of that rotation, trying to, of course, stack his season marksman a bit more. Leoric, we've seen a couple of different builds for him, especially on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen. Oftentimes it's a bit of a different approach where you still try to get the stacking going on level 1. In this case, on the other hand, we have the build with Drain Hope. He tries to put the pressure onto the front liners of Misfits.
Yeah, and Splendor getting a little bit of harass there from the overextension. Good job for Fnatic to apply the pressure as best they can. In the 1v1 in the upper half where we see this rotation going, it's going to be the Sonya versus Leoric. Sonya, that's a lane that she absolutely loves. As the game moves on, she becomes stronger and stronger into that matchup, being able to win it over time. It just comes down to the wave clear.
Yeah, talking about a different hero here, by the way. Jaina, on the other hand, is now being played by Hazobs, and this is one of the things where Hazard talked about it very early in this tournament when we mentioned Nano on Jaina, and he just laughed and said, "You've seen nothing yet. Wait until you see my Jaina," and he is going to prove in this game once more how strong he is on that mage hero.
Yeah, and look at those dead even almost there when it comes to the fan vote here, as the first Shrine phase has spawned here on Sky Temple. Rotation coming up from the Jaina. It was actually Fane. She moves back down. So right now it's only going to be a 3 versus 3 skirmish. We have the false out with the global on the bottom half here. Misfits, it's in their best interest to get the trade, but Leoric will be able to skirmish with the Sonya here. Fnatic already getting a bit of an upper hand.
Yeah, they're currently soaking both of those Templar shots, doing very well here. And of course, Misfits, they have to contest it. They're moving into the middle, trying to put the pressure on Breeze. He moves away, gets healed by Smexy, but Falstead finds himself still at the bot lane, getting value for his team and additional experience.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and also aiding towards his season marksman here. As the final shots, Falstead does fly to the mid lane to be able to try and secure that for his team. The 4v4. Hostawabs, though, moving in with Blumby here. They are on the retreat and trying to confirm the last shots here, but I don't think Fnatic's going to give them out that easy. They are a bit low, and Darkmok, though, with the flank.
Yeah, Blumby is trying to follow it up. Darkmok is moving in now with the Sonya too. Great coordination on the side of Misfits. They move into the middle with 5 heroes, and especially that early jump when Hazov's on his Jaina together with Tyrell that moved in against Falstead immediately forced him to back off.
Yeah, and Fnatic, because of their beautiful rotations and just the great 1v1 they had on bottom and on top, their 3v3 didn't lose. They end up with a 3/4 level lead here. It's going to be a bit more of a half once we get the XP waves coming into play. But again, a really good lead and smart decision making when it comes to their lane matchups here, and what was already a creative approach on the side of Misfits.
Yeah, we have Fnatic on the other hand with a slight leading experience right now. They're doing well. well here. They move with the Auric up to the top. And of course, at this time, you're really looking at those Siege Giant camps. You're trying to take your camp. We have that on the side of Fnatic, and they're going to try and invade the left now, which should actually work for them. Keep that Sylvanas in mind. It's going to help them to keep that push going. Misfits already posturing with 4 heroes. They want to defend this as much as they can, but Shrimpy is now here to help out.
Yeah, and the Nurox there, just the bigger they are alone is enough to kind of scare them off as Blumby gets aggressive. Keep in mind that with his level 4, the mobility that he's going to be able to provide with the swift retribution here, with Jaina, their chase potential here, Darkmok is going to have a heyday. If at any point Fnatic overextends here, whether it be on a keep, a fort, anything of the like, it suddenly becomes like an Illidan dream comp with Jaina slowing everybody and then the Tyrael giving the mobility.
Exactly, and this is also one of those moments. We've been talking a lot about like the heroic abilities on the side of Jaina, and usually we've seen at this tournament the Ring of Frost coming to play a lot. And I've talked a little bit with Misfits, and they actually said the one reason why they would go into Water Elemental is if they feel they're going to win through the chase. If they have, for example, an Illidan in their composition, they would consider going into the Water Elemental just so that they can slow targets down and give other heroes the opportunity to chase. It might be something that they're looking forward here to as well, depending on how the game goes. But of course, that burst and lockdown with the Ring of Frost is still absolutely phenomenal.
And now Misfits, because they do not have the global here, I'd like to see them making very early rotation in the bottom half here. Take out free structure damage, because you know that Fnatic, once they keep Falstad on the upper half of the map, as the Shrine phase is going to be spawning over the next 30 seconds or so. So you see the direct clear here, but I just feel like abusing that rotation, because Fnatic, right now, the back half of the game, after the first Shrine phase, has been very predictable rotations, and we really haven't seen Misfits make kind of any adjustments to it.
Yeah, we have Fnatic, of course, with that asset, having Falstad at the top, which we're seeing right now. Sylvanas helped out taking that camp down, which forces Sonya now to stay up at the top, and Falstad can at any moment in time move down, as now the temple is active. So that gives Fnatic a bit of an advantage here. Misfits have to be very careful how they approach this, with Sonya being completely stuck up at the top lane. You see how she's getting pressured back as the fight down here is still continuing, and Fnatic takes control of the temple.
Yeah, Jaina now just reaching that area to be able to deal with that 4 vs 4 on the bottom half. They have a lot of kill potential. All comes down to the Blizzard use on the side of Hasuabs in this 4 vs 4. Blumby might be looking to get aggressive there as he throws down the Eldruin, but it's not the case. Tychus gets delayed. Blizzard's used no value here, weakening their teamfight potential for a large period of time here, as Darkmok still losing the 1v1 in the upper half.
Darkmok is under so much pressure. He's about to lose the fort. Down here on the other hand, Fnatic is moving in after tapping at the fountain. They're trying to go for the temple once again. The Misfits are still fighting. Falstad still a constant threat that he might fly in. He's still going for Sonya. Sonya is about to fall at the top lane. She's just barely surviving there. Goes behind the gate. That was a close call here. Quatnik's nearly with a one-on-one kill.
And Fnatic here has just absolutely bodied Misfits when it comes to rotations on the map. The teamfight potential out of the side of Misfits is huge post-10. A lot of their heroics are necessary for them to really excel in a lot of the skirmishes here. And Fnatic completely abused that fact. They know that they had the better rotations, and even when Fnatic was predictable, Misfits really didn't decide to do anything to make up for the fact that they are not winning 1v1s, 3v3s at anywhere on the map.
You're so right. Level 10 is going to be absolutely crucial for the Misfits. The coordination and synergy between their heroic abilities is going to be essential for victory. And Fnatic knows it. They keep the pressure up as long as they have the advantage. They're running it with Sylvanas. She's one of the heroes that really enables them to push for these structures. But the Misfits now have that 10 and they are counter-rotating. And look at Jaina. She actually holds it back. She waits. She waits if she needs the ring or if she can go for the water elemental to start a chase.
Yeah, the chase potential of their composition is going to be huge. I fear that if their ring is going to be the option, we're going to see a lot of disengage when it comes to the Gus. At the same time, the composition for the side of Fnatic is looking for that Entomb Gus. So at the same time, I can see them working in that Ring of Frost because the Gus is going to be used as an engagement tool rather than a disengage.
And so they go for it. They go for the ring. They let the water elemental go for now. It has always been an option. And now you see Blumby as he moves back. They're trying to push Whoopi back. Keep in mind, he's going to be one of those heroes that will very easily fall in these fights. Of course, with Leoric and his trade, you get him back in the middle of the battle again. It's one of the things why Fnatic actually prioritizes him so highly, but at the same time, he's an easy target for heroes like Sonya and, of course, also Tychus.
Misfits showing already a struggle. Anytime the resources of this game are going to be drawn onto Tyrael, it's almost always going to be a bad time. Sonya really just wants to become what, I mean, for a long time was kind of considered the Super Sonya strategy. You have Tyrael there to get the backup. He's going to have the Earth Shield with Ancestral Healing and just wailing onto the front or back line at the the side of Fnatic's there. So really, Blumby overextending a bit too much. And this isn't the first time we've seen this out of Tyrael play during this entire regional. It's almost every time we see a Sanctification Tyrael, they struggle to engage.
Yeah.
And they're against a disengaged style composition here, so I'm already fearful with just even that one skirmish on the side of Blumby. He really needs to make sure him and his team are appropriately moving up together.
There's such a massive difference if you have a good or a bad Tyrael player in your game, especially Sanctification is a tool that you need to use at the perfect moment in time. And quite often, even with an engaged comp, we see Tyrael players forced to use it as a defensive tool, and that's not really what you want to do. You want to roll over your opponent up on the top lane, false set, under pressure, flying back. And so far, I really like, by the way, what qualifiers has been doing here. He's soaking so much for them. They're getting so much value, and now as we see the push at the top, they go for the boss with a level 13 talent advantage that they just secured.
This is not a poor trade for Misfits. It's actually in their best interest, the fact that they're sieging and confirming the shots. They don't have the 13 talent tier, and because the boss is the 4's already gone in that lane, they're going to be able to get pretty free clear for the most part and get them closer to that 13 tier to take a fight. So it looks a bit strange because they're giving up a boss for free, but ideally it's actually the smartest choice they have at this time.
Right now, of course, we have also the 13 talents in play, and this is where Giant Killer starts to play a crucial role. Since Falset went into Season Marksman on level 1, even committed on level 7, then into the secret weapon, and that is now something where he can pressure those frontliners. He's already at 23 stacks. He's going to do a ton of damage at that front line. He wants those shots. Falset flying in now from the back. Here comes Sylvanas, that value we've been talking about, with the boss disabling the structures and trying to go straight for the first keep of the game.
Darkmog needs to be more aggressive. I expect them to move past the boss here and look for a team fight. This chase is where their composition thrives. Sanctification is very early here, and look at that. Again, just walk away. Not even gust force. All it was a Wraith walk here. Oh,
and they still get the keep.
I mean, welcome to Sylvanas, I guess. It's just, Misfits is not forcing very well. That was the closest thing to a Sanctification engage we saw, and it's Blumby by himself.
Dread, we're 10 minutes in the game. We haven't seen a single kill yet.
Feels bad.
They're just disengaging whenever they can. They dance around them. They outplay them right now with their rotations. It's finally 13 versus 13 talents. And of course, the Misfits are looking for a fight, but they don't have Sanctification right now. They're going for Tyrael. Here comes immediately an Entomb, but Wobi has to move out of there as Blumby starting to give chase. Quatnix gets himself into position. There's the Mighty Gust, and goodbye.
Again, that is an absolute must that they have Sanctification because the disengage tools are so great for Fnatic with Leorg's Wraithwalk. So you got Wailing Arrow is going to be able to provide great peel, but we look for the invade here. It's going to be given up for free. Fnatic, smart choice here. They don't want to take a fight until they have 16 advantage, and just Fnatic complete control over this match.
There's so much on the line here. If Fnatic takes this semi-final, they will be qualified for BlizzCon already. Every single step could be your last. And Fnatic, they were so close so often. When we look at Valencia, they were in the finals. They looked like they would be able to take down Dignitas, but Dignitas came back and beat them with a 3-2. Fnatic, they want to qualify right now, and this is an incredible close game here already in this first match. Misfits, 0 kills, still behind the experience. Fnatic with the last 2 temple shots up at the top, and they are still reluctant to fight. They want to have 16 first.
Yeah, and with Misfits there, that was the last team fight they were going to get on the same talent tier for some time. They won't have it for the next Shrine phase, and so they went for that invade with the last hope of like, this is our fight where we can get on the same talent tier. They proceed to back out. Fnatic realizes it's too risk, confirming the shots on top, which only converts the next Shrine that spawns at the upper half. That is now a keep because they didn't finish those shots in the first phase for Misfits. Right now, Fnatic has like structural integrity, a 2-level lead here, and personally, with how Blumby's engaged so far, a better composition.
And look at the level 16 talents. We talk about disengage, we talk about them outplaying the opponent. They're going into overwhelming affliction on Sylvanas. They want to slow them down even more. Look at Falstead. He goes straight into the speed with the afterburner. They're disengaging again. Quatnix with the damage output against Darmok. Darmok already low, but here comes Sanctification as they're starting to move in. Finally, great ulti, and Entomb already used in the back to slow them out, and the attack against Tyrael. He goes down. He's the first death in the game. Shrimpy dodges the explosion. Darmok, on the other hand, wants to confirm a kill against Smexy. Doesn't get it as Karasim dashes away. But Fnatic, they are currently looking so strong here.
They were not giving them the fight that they wanted. Once the Sanctification came out, they all walked away as best as they could, and then were able to get the counter kill onto the Tyrael because, again, he's their really only major form of initiation. I really think the only way Misfits has an opportunity in this game, Jaina has to flank. And I know that sounds scary, but they need to trust in Blumby. He needs to get the Eldruin's Might on top of her once they turn onto her, get the Sanctification, stop babying the Sonya. That's Splender's job. Jaina has to be there engaged.
And think about what we just saw. Misfits, they feel so much pressure that they engaged without the level 16 talent. They said, guys, we're going to force it now. We're going to rely on the Sanctification. We need to make something happen. They are behind. Now, of course, another 10-second cooldown until Sanct is up again. The Temple activating in another 10 seconds. And this is where Fnatic can once again, with a talent advantage, start to fight.
Yeah, and they're just going to look to get as much damage here as they possibly can. But even Fnatic having the 16-tier advantage doesn't want the full skirmish. They're going to be able to give it to them for the time being. Nightcamp is pressuring on the top half, though, Kaldor.
Yeah, there's another camp at the top, and that's a massive problem. Misfits are on the clock already. Fnatic, they have time. They use the Entomb, doesn't catch anybody, though. Yubovi is trying to put some pressure onto Norok. They go for the Shrine, imposing presence on Leoric. He knows that he's the target here. Here comes the engage, and again they move back. Sanctification not getting enough value, pushing Fnatic off the Temple, but look at that top lane.
HotS has so much pressure on him right now. Gust is still available, so even if they get the engage, it will be disengaged here. Oh, and Nurok now getting caught out with the Stormbolt onto him. Ring as the response there, but not hitting anybody. The Gust will push them away, and Wubby proceeds to drain everyone's life. And honestly, the hopes here for Misfits as the team rages on.
Fnatic with great coordination. Misfits finally with a level 16 talent. They're trying to bring it into play, but so far they haven't really accomplished this. The camp is still pushing the top lane. The wall is down, another tower falling. The first temple has been soaked, and now Fnatic, they rotate to the bottom. They have a 2-level lead already here. They have everything going for them now.
This Misfits really wants to truly prove that they are the best team, or at least one of them in Europe right now. They have to show that they have the understanding that this fight is not going to happen with Sanctification.
Yeah.
They will never get the engage they truly want with Sanct unless they one-shot Schwimpy specifically, Falstad, or Quacknix, excuse me. That is the only way they really get it. Unless Hasu flanks, he must.
Every single hero for Fnatic has now disengaged talents that they can use to just move back, and they do it again. Tyrael has a Sanct ready, not used yet, but all the other rogue abilities are on cooldown. Fnatic, they're not even fighting for the temple just yet. They are just sitting there. They know they have the edge. Look at that mid lane keep. It is so low. Wubby retreating again. At this point, one keep is down. Fnatic, they can fight, but they don't have to yet. They are low in hit points, especially on the Leoric, and they just disengage. They know that their lead is strong enough.
I think this is all going to come down to Misfits baiting a boss. Their composition has a lot of boss control between the Holy Ground and the Sanctification. Here's the start. It all comes down to Quacknix and his Gust at this point in time, and how well we see the use of Blumby there with his tools and the boss control. They're getting onto it, doing a lot of DPS. This is a very high-risk call here, Kaldor. And look at him! He's already dead!
The boss takes down Arrow! The boss takes down Darkmoth. The Wailing Arrow was absolutely perfect here as well. What a great isolation. Sonya is dead, and now Fnatic is giving chase. Already Quacknix trying to get in position against Nora. He's going immediately for Tiger's Priest, jumps in with the stun. Ancestral hits. Great play on the side of the support player. Splendor with a massive save, but Wubby moves in again, and Misfits are in complete disarray now.
And now the boss is now walking slowly here to the core. One person is going to be dead. There are no tools that are defensive enough to really stop this. It is a 16-minute boss here for Fnatic. Wubby just after the one-shotting Sonya, just like, yeah, I'll casually take this, guys. Thanks for starting it off. That's 75%. We'll take this from here. We'll get the game.
They have the palm still available, and here comes Fnatic. They want to end game number 1. The boss is on the core. Blumby getting jumped. Down goes Tyrael. He's trying to get the kill in. Might take down Wubby, and indeed he does, but the death time is working in his favor. The palm is hitting, and in its home, Schwimpy is safe. The boss is stopping that core. 70% Misfits. They need to do something, but they're about to lose another hero. Tychus goes down. That's most of the damage gone. This is game, Dreadnought. This is game. Fnatic takes game number 1 against the Misfits.
Absolutely calculated play the entire time for Fnatic. Since level 1, laning decisions completely dominating over Misfits, making the smart rotations, never taking a single fight that they knew their opponents wanted, walked away, out-rotated, and proceeded to just, it was not even close, honestly. It was 3 to 4 with only the kills, but it felt like Fnatic just constantly outplayed their opponent.
And we are talking about Fnatic, a team that historically was known to overextend, to fight too much, to take too many battles, and then look at the discipline in this game just now.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's a very good point that you bring up, because they were always known. They're going to overextend, wait till that happens, punch them then. And now they are forcing compositions to where they have to be very smart in what fight they take, and not one single time that game did they even look like they were risking one that they shouldn't be.
They just used the playstyle that for the longest time we associated with My Insanity, or now the Misfits.
Yes.
Very well played and very crisp by Fnatic, and also a bit of a wake-up call, of course, for their opponent.
I agree. I think the confidence levels of Misfits going into that matchup, especially considering some of the cover picks that they had, made them feel in the right spot for that game. And after realizing how little control they had in the game, I feel like there's going to be shooken up here. They're going to have to mix it up. Maybe that first pick Tychus, early rotation Tychus, is something we won't see out of them going into the next match.
Fnatic took map number 1, but of course this is a best of 5 series. They still have a long way to go. But before we head into the second game, we're going to hear what the analysts have to say about the first map.
Thank you very much, guys. And indeed, nothing is decided just yet. It was just the first game in a best of 5. Nevertheless, though, Fnatic looking really, really strong, dictating the pace of the game and command where, you know, or which route Misfits actually had to take. And especially, I want to highlight Fnatic, Quacknix here on his false set, ever so powerful, dealing so much damage. It was insane.
It was. I mean, that was kind of the thing. We saw an auto attack Falstad, which I think when we talked about what are some things you can do against somebody like Ethereal, you can kind of try and focus fire. And I think that's one of the things they managed to accomplish. There were a lot of times where Ethereal just could not be aggressive. I said beforehand, sometimes you have to either have the same type of aggression or you have to put the aggressive approach to that team. And they did just that. And they controlled a lot of that. There weren't a lot of kills. But when it came time to fights, I think that worked very well in their favor.
I like that what they did is they realized that when Misfits were struggling versus EE, there were a few times that Blumby was too far forward, even on Muradin, and Tyrael is squishier. But another thing, they proved that even though maybe some of their comfort heroes aren't ones that have been working out for them or other people in the past, as long as they're on their game, then that's all that matters for them.
Yeah, and I have really high hopes for Tyrael and Sonya as a combo to really threaten the backline of Fnatic. Todd, what went wrong there?
I think maybe just the synergy in general. I guess obviously, you know, Fnatic played better, and the comfort picks, like we finally saw Tychus losing when used by Misfits, but
for the first time.
More importantly, again, that Falstad and Muradin, if you let them go to Fnatic, they've played so many games with these heroes. They're just so good with them. You mentioned J-Har Breeze, how good a KDA has on Muradin, and again, you know, a solid performance by him. Taking a boss in front of a Falstad with Gus, that was a little bit weird here, really. Well, even with the way the game was going, maybe they were afraid that level 20 was going to be reached no matter what, and then they were going to have to take an even worse fight if that had happened.
For anybody that was listening, that was the moment where Dread said, hey, if they're going to do something, they have to feign it. Not necessarily full commit to it. They full committed, and then the Entomb landed, and the Wailing Arrow.
The arrow.
The arrow is what won that. I mean, that was something we talked about in the pre-phase, is that if the Wailing Arrow comes in, sometimes you can't get that sanctification out. Sometimes you can get the blow up, and one person got deleted, and just like that, boss was grabbed, and they took it bottom lane and ended the game.
Deleted by the boss, no one. Or he at least helped.
Gets stuck right there on the edge.
The rotations, too, for Fnatic were so good. Understanding their composition, Falstad always split pushing, using Sylvanas to her maximum potential to take out structures, too. Just from early game, they got such a lead that Misfits never could find the right team fight. Ring of Frost didn't hit either. It was just great play all around, from team fights to rotations from Fnatic.
Yeah, and we saw, you know, Misfits going for a desperate move there towards the end of the game. I mean, going for that boss, although many people probably would have said, you know, why do you take a risky boss like that? But there was just nothing left for them to gain. All the structures were nearly killed, and Fnatic was just ever so pressing.
And this might change the whole dynamic of the drafting here from now as well. You know, Falstad and TRL, they somehow made it here, the first picks. Might go back to being banned very early. I think it was Zagar and Illidan last game that got banned somehow, which definitely was a little bit out of the ordinary.
Next map is Infernal.
Yes.
Now, yesterday we saw Tychus on Sky Temple, and he struggled with Misfits. They were able to pull it out, but I feel like it was much more difficult than it should have been. When we talk about Infernal, that allows for a lot more control when you have Tychus. So I don't want to say I'm off the Tychus like bandwagon. It's just I'm not necessarily a fan on Sky Temple, and I'm much more of a fan of him on Infernal Shrine.
I feel like we're going to see Fnatic ban out Kerrigan right away.
They know they can't play it.
And they know that she is good on this battleground.
Shots fired, J-Ho.
They played it pretty poorly.
I know.
You see Falstad here, then from Misfits? So they don't want to get
Okay. So Falstad first pick here is definitely a big possibility for Fnatic. At least gonna give it a little bit of a thought, though.
I think Kel'Thas or Sylvanas,
Yeah,
I guess at this point.
She showed on this map how good she is. At this point, I'm a little bit surprised we don't even see her banned here very often.
Just so many things you want to ban, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that there's a lot of weights on the shoulders of Blumby from Misfits here, because he had a little bit of a rough time sometimes in this tournament, and especially during the Summer Championship when he played that Diablo, that Stitches even against MVP Black on Infernal Shrines. It was super powerful, and I think if Blumby performs well, the rest of Misfits can actually follow up.
The last time when they were playing versus Team Dignitas on Shrines, Fnatic picked up after the Sylvanas, Leo and Murden. They're changing that slightly because Falstad is there, and of course they're going to want Falstad. So they do still get Leo, and why not? Because last game, Falstad and Leo were so good for them. They worked so well.
Yeah. Such good wave clear again too, which comes into play on Infernal Shrines on top of having the Entombed that they fight very well with. Well, what do we call these strats? Entombed with a Wailing Arrow and then Gust to cover as well. What is that?
Death.
Sounds good.
Very straightforward.
The open and close coffin? I don't know.
Getting really fancy there,
Consider the
Kelly.
Wailing Arrow the nail in the coffin.
Hey,
There you go.
use hashtag HGC and you tell us what you think the name of that combo. There we go.
Professional.
All right. So Karazim banned out here. Now Misfits also likes Murden on this map. They also really like Sonya. Tychus and Sonya are very, very strong, and you can pair Murden up there, especially around the shrine. It allows for a lot of control, and sometimes we talk about control around the shrines quite a bit. Keep in mind that also Kel'Thas, not picked up, not banned yet. So I think there's some opportunities for possibly a really strong assassin to come in, and that way you can take that for yourselves, or we could be looking at Murd and Sonya here.
What do you make of these permanent Illidan bans against Misfits here? Second time in a row. I mean, Darkmok plays a mean Illidan for sure, but Illidan, you know, it's not one of these highly contested heroes so far.
Maybe Fnatic don't feel like they play very good against Illidan in general. They see it as one of their weaknesses, so they're going to prioritize that over, you know, playing against other heroes supposed to be better, but that they know how to play better against.
They're preparing for a potential Zeratul.
Solo tasks.
Yep, it's Fnatic's specialty after all.
But I think this also, you look at the other side, this is something that we've seen a couple times.
Who is it? Sorry, go ahead.
You gotta wait. You wait for the last pick to see if it's something you can go with. They're going back into the solo task. It's something they feel very confident. Level 4, Falstad, hammer gains, he's able to self-sustain. And then you've got Leoric, of course, who even if he dies, he still has some self-sustain.
Yeah.
And
There's
plus,
the Zeratul.
with that is that you have everybody else ability to get away, as we see. But that might not be the case with Void Prison and Ring of Frost.
Yeah, the Wombo just got better too. It's like Entombed, Wailing Arrow, and then you have Force Wall to follow up. Mosh Pit could come into play, and if it goes bad, you just Gust and you go away.
What we saw though on Tomb of the Spider Queen, we saw this against Dignitas. When that ring hits you and you come out as a support and your name's Tassadar and you don't have a cleanse, everybody's stuck.
Yeah.
And you're not saving anybody, at least from being rooted for a few moments.
We're actually being treated into a very rare scenario here where both teams actually sort of go for a wombo combo approach. I mean, we see the Zeratul Jaina on the side of Misfits, and as we mentioned, we see the Falstad and Tomb on the side of Fnatic.
Is that Calaris eating pizza?
It is. Enjoying his experiences.
Yeah, living the hard esports life, Calaris, that is, right?
Yeah, I mean, eating pizza and watching these games, what else do you need in life, right?
Yeah,
Nothing. That is true.
I wonder what he has on his pizza. Like, what kind of pizza guy is Calaris?
Maybe he should tweet using the hashtag HGC and let us know what kind of pizza.
What kind of pizza guy Calaris is, right?
A lot of potential here, heroic-wise. It's funny, really funny, you know, how you can start picturing. It's kind of straightforward, too. Like, there's no big surprise. Like, we're not going to see Hinterland Blast. No, I'm not even going to joke that. Like, no, you already know kind of how it's going to go. It's just about the setup and the executions here for both teams.
Right, but we're going to find out how this second game between Misfits and Fnatic is going to pan out. Our casters are ready. Dreadnought and Kaldor, it's your show.
We saw a very, very strategical game actually between Fnatic and Misfits on the first map. I guess we can expect quite a few kills here when we're looking at the setup for the two teams on Infernal Shrine Strat.
Yeah, we've seen the Wombo combo Zeratul ring once or twice before, and so far it hasn't been able to be stopped.
Well, for now, to the left, we have the Misfits starting things off. We're with HotS on Jaina. We have Norok on Tychus, Lumbi on Muradin, Darkmok on Zeratul, and Splendor on Rhaegar.
And for Fnatic, where you're going to have Breeze on the ETC, Schwimpy on Sylvanas, Wubby on the Leoric, Smexy will be on the Tassadar, and Quacknix on Falstad.
This game is going to be very different here. Once again, the setup with Zeratul's Void Prison to just secure these kills where Jaina is trying to get the burst in. We have some disengage potential on Fnatic's side, again with that Falstad, but if you look on the healer side, it's Fnatic trademark style. Tassadar solo, the ETC with the potential groupies on level 13, and considering that you already went into Prog Rock on 1, I don't think there's a doubt about his 13 talent.
Yeah, and with that Tassadar being the only one, only support here for their team. If Zeratul ends up hitting a huge combo, there's almost no chance somebody is able to survive as long as they time it appropriately, but we'll find out. We do see Sylvanas on the side of Fnatic again, looking to try and make a play when it comes to the towers, and the traditional 2-1-2 here for Misfits as a response.
Already going for the Sylvanas crash up at the top lane. That's one easy tower there for sure, but Zeratul is starting to move in, so they disengage a bit earlier. Don't want to risk losing heroes here. A lot of free damage against the towers, though. Already a small success for Fnatic.
Yeah, and for the Zeratul, we see Seasoned Marksman as his level 1. Something we've seen already in this tournament to great effect. It was very valuable here, so his positioning, though, is going to have to be very on point with the Tassadar to be able to get the reveal, but then also not having the bonus health that he might be able to get if he was going with Regen Master instead.
Sylvanas already playing a huge role in the first game when she was able to empower that boss push at that boss lane even more. In this game, of course, with the Punisher, Fnatic is going to try to do the same thing again. Objective control is absolutely crucial for Misfits with this setup, and especially Zeratul is a hero that we have to watch out for because of that Void Prison setup for Jaina.
Yeah, it's just constant rotations here between these teams in the early games. Waiting it out, HotS very patiently here, does get the reveal with the Psystorm, and nothing's going to happen so far with this. Jaina does provide a lot of wave clear. Now actually Quacknix rotating up to Tychus. Not going to be able to make anything happen quite yet.
Well, actually, Tychus is incredibly low, nearly falling in the top lane, barely surviving there. So that rotation nearly resulted in a kill, but now we have 3 heroes in that mid lane still getting the experience. Top lane was pushed a bit. Falstad can always be back, which is what he's currently doing, so that he can fly in just in time for the first Shrine.
Yeah, that's now going to be forcing, as you see, Blumby to deal with the responses here. Shrine moving up in the upper half of the map because Fnatic got that force onto Norok to make him back. They're in a position where they might have the upper hand for a short period of time, and Darkmok getting cut out. It's going to force a well tap.
That's absolutely perfect. If they get a situation like this in the later stage of the game after 10, that's what they need to do. But now Breeze is in trouble, gets stunned, and that's a great isolation here. The shield is in, but it's already too late. Great kill here by the Misfits. Fnatic now down 1 hero, only for 10 seconds since we are still early in the game, but this is a head start for the Misfits on the Shrine.
Yeah, and Rhaegar with that Lightning Bond is going to be able to help his team get a lot of clear. It's a, Darkmok, a little bit of harass there. But again, he makes essentially 2 characters have Shrine control. Whereas before, like for instance, a Muradin maybe not too good on his own. Jaina outside of the Blizzard doesn't have anything. One use of the W there is going to make both of you be able to clear very, very efficiently here. So really good idea to have the rotation there on the side of Misfits to put him up there. And the response for Fnatic, let's push on bottom.
Yeah, Fnatic is trying to use Sylvanas. Now they're going for some tower pressure. They want to trade structures. They know they're going to lose the Punisher, and if they can push a wall down, that would at least help them to take for a short period of time a slightly inexperienced until that Punisher is starting to get value for the Misfits. But the pressure is on, and with 3 heroes, the Misfits are trying to defend.
Yeah, Skeletal Defenders have now been finished off here as Misfits will be able to get the Punisher, but 3/4 level of a lead disadvantage here because they've sacrificed so many resources up there to get the clear, and Sylvanas just wailing everywhere else on the map here for Fnatic. And this really feels like it's Fnatic's strongest point when it comes to them as a team right now, is every comp they've really kind of innovated on or played is just only worried about manipulating the map. They very rarely seem to be caring about winning team fights.
Especially that Falstad play was absolutely exceptional in the first game, and they start to do exactly the same thing again. He gets so much value for them. We talk about the globals, and we talk about him being able to soak lanes to just get through objectives a little bit faster, and I feel they played absolutely perfectly when it comes to that.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, and honestly, the evolution, if you will, of this team and their playstyle and thought processes has really become a beautiful thing to kind of watch here as it comes into fruition now, finally here. But level 7 talents here will be achieved relatively soon. Both teams looking to paint the map their team's color, try and get some pressure and control it as best they can.
And talking about the talents, in this case we have a slight adjustment on the side of Falstad. He actually did not go for an auto attack build, but having him with a bit more burst. He tries to burst heroes away, and even on level 4 he decided to go into the static shield because we already know that there is the leeching plasma available thanks to Thassadar. So he says, okay, I need to survive a bit longer against Zeratul that starts to stack these marksman stacks.
Yeah, since Misfits has really picked this teamfight-oriented composition, and Fnatic has such a map-oriented composition, just wave clear, control it as best we can. I really want to see them worry about timing that top camp, the Shaman's camp specifically, very, very well with the map objective again, because we know it's not going to be top. Drawing resources, at least it gives them a 5 to 10 second advantage and usual skeletal defender advantage, while Quacknix is going to be busy up there getting the clear here.
Both teams, once again, very, very cautious here. Early in the game, you can still at least punish a slide, but this is going to change as we are approaching the mid-game. Both of the teams now, with the camps that you just been talking about, Dread, we already had one deep push at the bot lane where Falstad again is taking the position, and they're just waiting for the next objectives to be announced. And here we go, mid lane. This is where we have the next shrine activated.
Yeah, and they're getting just such an early rotation here. Fnatic over Misfits again because of how much wave clear they have elsewhere on the map. Zeratul and everybody just seems a bit too busy here. Rhaegar as well, great patience. They're trying to catch him off Breeze. Will he be able to get the power slay? He does. The blink on Darkbox, not going to be out far enough out to dodge. He used the Vorpal Blade. The bomb actually hits onto Falstad, who's got the range. He goes for the flank. Darkbox not like, oh, he steals!
He gets the kill, uses immediately as ever, gets the kill, and great play on the side of Fnatic. They were looking for Zeratul, they find him, and then Quack with a fly. The stealth, it looked for a moment like he might escape, but Falstad says, no, I got this, Quacknix with a kill.
The worst part about that situation is not the kill and that Darkmok was not successful in getting away, but that was 2 people to kill Darkmok. And all the skeletal defenders went to Fnatic. They have so much control over these shrines unless you abuse the team fight potential. But again, Misfits picks a comp that's only good post 10. They're waiting for the Wamba.
And Dread, we have level 10 any moment for Fnatic with a Sylvanas and a Punisher pushing. And Misfits, they don't have access to their heroic ability just yet. Fnatic can go full out on this aggression now.
Yeah, they do get the bait over the wall. Good job. And Tomb coming in on a hot swaps, completely isolated. Nobody's 10 to be able to keep him alive. Jaina looks like she's going to be going down. There's a 2-man mosh pit as well as Wubby goes in aggressively with that Wraith Walk, Wailing Arrow, and now Nurak goes to sleep as well.
Absolute slaughter as Fnatic pushes through using that Mighty Gust even to, of course, buy a bit more time for the Punisher to isolate Jaina as well. They get the 4th, they get a double kill. They're an entire level and a half ahead, and they're not even done yet. They're moving to the top lane to get even more value here. Fnatic is making so far no mistakes and is just completely punishing the Misfits whenever they have the chance.
That is all their compositions are built to do. Leoric, Tassadar, and then Lunar or Falstad, they just worry about as much pressure. Sylvanas complements it as well. ECC is the only one who doesn't just look at a lane and delete it within a half a second.
And again, the patience here, moving to the top, not getting greedy, dropping a few of the structures. Leoric is already bot lane, trying to secure that lead even more. Only hero that hasn't taken a talent yet, by the way, is Tychus.
Is it the Odin Dream? No, he goes for the laser. I was excited for a second there. We've seen some Odin on this map internationally. You know, it's not totally uncommon.
With a setup with the Void Prison and also the Ring of Frost,
you could build-up while it's waiting,
You could actually do it.
Yeah, and
you start with the Void Prison, you go for the build-up, and once that the Void Prison drops, you have Odin ready, you have the ring to lock him into place, and then Odin goes just full out.
Yeah, and it's kind of that idea that we see from some of the other characters like Starfall on the Shrine specifically, the area control. Nobody really wants to fight into an Odin, so then what if you have to bring the fight to the Odin, right? He's so powerful, but he's always worried, number one, initiating it, which over that long periods of time, you can get away with it on this map, but then also the area control, it's just so hard to deal with him. But we're going to see, sadly, the laser once again go pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, once again, it's the drill, and for now, we are actually seeing Smexy, Breeze, and Quacknix down here at the bot defending for now. Look at that top lane. Again, Wubby on his Leoric. He's been playing in fantastic Leoric in all of the games at this tournament so far already. He gets value for his team, he can always rotate back, he does exactly that. The wave clear is there, and Fnatic is getting pressure up against the Misfits on all lanes. And they claim level 13. Perfect timing for them too. They hit 13, the temple or the shrine gets announced, and now they can aim for another Punisher, and they have Sylvanas.
Yes, so now is the moment where Misfits sees if their composition decision-making was worth it. Last game it wasn't. They weren't able to force the fight. I promise you Void is a bit more effective than Tyrael Sanctification here against Fnatic. The key points we need to see, Falstead has to be hit by Ring, and everybody needs to move spread apart because you know he's going to be opening with Gust. If Falstead doesn't get one shot, they're going to be in a really bad position. Also, Sylvanas, if the Wailing Harrow is going to hit onto Jaina or the Zeratul to drop the Void, this Wombo combo is not going to look nearly as pretty as Dignitas showed it was.
Exactly, they have two real good disengaged tools here. If the Void Prison goes down, Falstead isn't hit, he's simply gonna Gust, and then they will still be safe. But just look at that value. Up at the top, 20 minion stacks already, and they're fighting in the middle of the map. Up to the top, we're seeing Sylvanas, we see Tacita. They have nearly 30 minion stacks already as is, and we all know what's gonna happen if they get another Punisher and push with the Sylvanas composition.
Yeah, and the fact that Misfits is worried about this 13 tier, I'm surprised. I don't really feel, other than Jaina, that they need it that much. Obviously, there's 13 tiers always cool to have, but at this point, you can't risk another map objective. This is going to snowball to where that one tier talent, like that one level lead, is 2 to 3 at that point. I really feel like their patience here, now giving up more skeletal defenders, just waiting for this Void, was a very high-risk move, enough to maybe cost them what could be a game with the snowball that we see out of Fnatic.
The snowball can be so strong on Infernal Shrines, and this is what Fnatic is hoping for. Now we see that dance where that Void Prison is going to be crucial. Darkmog is looking for an opportunity. Quackly is all out at the front. Here they jump, but they go in this case for Wooby. He uses the Wraithwalk, gets out of there. Again, Zeratul looking for an opportunity, and Fnatic is spreading. They are not clumping. 5 more, and they will have the Punisher.
4 more here, 3. Wobby's moving in. Only hits one person. Moshpit and Gusto stacked on top of each other. That was not as pretty as they had hoped it to be here as Blumby looks for the response, but that is going to be what is another Punisher here for Fnatic.
Definitely a problem that they also lost the cooldown on the mosh pit, but in the end, still worth it because they didn't die, and now we have cooldown on the Void Prison. So it worked perfectly for them. Void Prison was, let's be honest here, the Void Prison was definitely not what it was supposed to be. You have Falstead right behind you. You need to hit the bird. If you don't hit him, then he's just gusting you away. That's what happened. Grease even a little bit over-eager here, trying to make sure that nobody can follow it up with damage. But we see what happens if you give Fnatic that Punisher. Here comes Sylvanas. They go through the fort, and they aim for the first keep.
We may not have Void Prison, but we still have an opportunity to get a big ring here. The bait over the wall goes on to Blumby. Breeze with the follow-up will confirm the kill. Ancestral lands. That's going to be a 2-man ring as Breeze is on the retreat here. Wubby the Leoric as well. Wailing Arrow hits 4 people. And the Entomb. They're going to be on the response areas. It looks like Darkmox trying to confirm a kill, but that was a solid response here from Misfits to turn it around. Not necessarily game-changing in a huge tempo swing, but at least showing signs of life.
That was scary. When that Wailing Arrow hit and then Leoric and all of a sudden he dropped that Entomb too, it really looked like they could follow up with the damage to at least drop one target. They didn't manage to do it, and Misfits with a crazy defense here, managing to save that keep. The kill against ETC was crucial, but now, again, experience, the level 16 lead is happening for Fnatic in just a few moments, and then Misfits might have to fight against a talent advantage over the next Punisher.
Again, I feel like a lot of that came down to the rotation being so late to that last shrine. It may seem like a very, very subtle thing, but that dance where Zeratul puts in the fear of Zeratul into his opponents, constantly worrying about where he is, you saw him rush the Void. Because he rotated so slow, they were so worried about that 13 talents here. I don't think in any world do I look at that and go, well, you know, they didn't have Icy Veins. Their combo's a one-shot. You aren't looking for the long tier fight. If you don't hit the good Void and get the time for it, it doesn't matter if you have 13 tier, you're gonna lose it every time.
When we talked about Dignitas playing this composition and playing with the Zeratul, this is exactly what he mentioned, that he was so patient to just like not drop the Void Prison too early. Bait them in first, then you drop the Void Prison, then you get the value out of it. In this case though, a single target hit, Falster not even affected, even ETC trying to zone them out. Now there's level 16, Fnatic is still ahead in this game. They drop 2 forts as is, and they are putting pressure on these keeps.
Yeah, it's just, Misfits really needs to step it up. They need to make sure they make their early rotations, make sure they buy as much time as they possibly can, try to fear their opponents. Like, they don't have the best poke in the world, really. Jaina's kind of all in, Tychus doesn't have too much poke either, and into a Tassadar, that's kind of worst case scenario since he is pretty much only great against direct burst, and Smexy is gaining a lot of value.
So for now we have a top lane camp that is about to be taken out by Zeratul, and we see the Misfits taking their own Shaman camp to try and get some pressure on the top lane. This is definitely going to be a great move for them since they start to put some pressure at the top of the map and therefore also in the top fort. But we already have in position Fnatic waiting for an opportunity to maybe engage here at 60 16 versus 16 talents, though. The Misfits were able to soak the gap and have their own talent now ready. Darkmork, again, it's all about him. Where's the Void Prism going to land? Will he have the patience to wait for the opportunity?
Oracle is available here for the test. Are patiently using it, waiting to buy his time. Darkmok is mounting up, looking for the flank. It's all about Darkmok at this point. Misfits needs a minimum 2-man Void, and ideally on Falstad or the Sylve if they're going to have the shot here. We just used the Oracle, so now this is Darkmok has 30 seconds to strike.
But Quacknix has the position. He knows that his Mighty Gust is a powerful tool against the Void Prism. Right now, he's waiting for that chance to use him, and Darkmok goes in, and he keeps himself very far behind. They don't stack up. They're poking. 26 minions, 28. They are going for it once again. They can't win that Punisher. Misfits, they have to do something about it. They're trying to deny. The drill is already on the ground. There's the Void Prism on Falstad. The silence is in. The mosh pit, and it's not interrupted. The Ancestral Healing, on the other hand, keeping ourselves alive, but Zeratul is going down. It's the first kill for Fnatic, and they're going for it. They're chasing them. The drill's still getting value. Whoopi drops, but the Arcane Punisher is taken.
This is so sad to see Misfits here. The whole time we've seen this combo, this entire tournament, it has just been absolutely obliterating their opponents. And a lot of the times it's because the DPS is stacking. Against Zeratul, you never want to split your DPS because you're afraid of getting 1v1. He's great in that situation. But in this case, if you group, he kills you even more. Blumby getting caught out here, he will be falling down.
Oh my god.
This could be game.
This could be game for sure. Blumby down, Zeratul not back yet. He has the cooldown.
There's
still
no...
on the Void Prism. He can't use it. Here comes Fnatic. It was perfect positioning on the Shrine. They go through the keep. They will go for the game now. Look at that Punisher, nearly at full HP. He jumps in and they immediately capitalizing on it. They're trying to go for the next kill, and they do. Zeratul down again. He just came back, and now he's dead once more. They're isolating Hazards. They're going for the core. Fnatic, they want to make it a 2-0 lead against the Misfits.
And they are going to be able to take it here with the leap going in and Jaina not having ring. There is no way that Misfits will be able to stop it here. Fnatic controlling the map and the series going 2-0 so far over Misfits.
Fnatic once again. This is a completely different team from what we've seen yesterday.
Absolutely.
They play so well right now, coordinated, they have the discipline, they spread out. Then Darkmork feels the pressure, goes in against Falstad. And what do we see? Sylvana spam the Wailing Arrow, and Bree says, I got this, slides in, drops the mosh pit. Even the Ancestral on Rhaegar couldn't help the Misfits to win the fight. They lose their heroes too fast. Leoric falls, but who cares? They have the boss, they have the Punisher, and they move through to take the second victory.
Misfits is going to have to rethink their game plan here because both of those compositions are exactly what they wanted, and it did not work out for them. The map control compositions on Fnatic seem almost unstoppable at this point.
Janot, one more game. One game, one map, and we will see Fnatic at BlizzCon. Misfits, they know it as well. They have to win 3 in a row now. It is going to be an absolutely Herculean task. They can do it. They've proven it in the past. They can come back from a situation like this, but it's not going to be easy. And Fnatic, will they choke again? They had it in their own hands at Valencia. Will they choke again, or will they be able to secure that last map?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But before that, we're going to see what our panelists have to say about the last match and more.
Thank you very much, Kaldor and Dreadnought. And boy, Fnatic is on a roll. I mean, we're not talking about just any team here. It's Misfits, after all, a team that so far at Gamescom has been unbeaten. And Fnatic, they're just leading 2-0 like it was nothing.
I think that what we see today is what we expected out of Fnatic the other day. I mean, they went up against a weird ADRD comp, and that you could see it frustrated them quite a bit. Obviously, they fell to Dignitas. And there's no shame in that. But today, they seem on point, Gilly.
I don't think I've ever seen Fnatic Synergy be as good as it is right now. It's incredible. The 2 plays, the one with the Mosh and the Force Wall funneling Jaina in after she was caught by Entomb, and then a one I know that you're going to talk about that it just blew my mind with Falstad on one side, Sylvanas on the other. The play is beautiful.
Todd, can Fnatic be stopped in their current shape and form?
It's looking real difficult right now for Misfits. Fnatic, it feels like they're just making every single right conclusion from their training and previous round matches as well. They're playing it their own way. They're prioritizing, bans on Illidan because they think they're going to have a tough time against it. Guess what? Against everything else, apparently, they're doing very well. And they look unstoppable right now.
Absolutely. I mean, you basically cannot really make out a single strong point here of Fnatic. I mean, everybody is playing their absolute A game. Quacknix on Falstead, ever so solid. Smexy, the backbone of the team here. And Jehao, you're going to tell us why exactly Fnatic look as strong as they do.
It goes back to what Gilly was just talking about, their synergy. And this is something that we knew was going to happen. You're going to see Zeratul come in, and this is where he's going to land the Void Prison. This is the biggest thing. Now, normally you have that Jaina, but look at the Wailing Arrow right there. Makes it impossible. Immediately sliding in as ETC, and they get the mosh pit, they get the kills. But that was one of the counters that we saw only used once against this combo the other day when they had Sylvanas. But holding on to that made that fight so crucial for them, and you can see they're able to rotate the boss down. You know, they eventually got that extra kill, which was kind of weird. Blumby got caught out. I think if Blumby didn't get caught out on that middle keep, they might still be going, but that was a really awkward position for them to be in.
The split of Falstad and Sylvanas there, no matter who got hit by the Void Prison, the other could stop the combo, either Gust or Wailing Arrow, and they showed that combo's nothing as long as you have the backline spread out the way they did.
I talked about the heroics, you know, coming into play already from the draft and all the potential. Everything's coming together. Other than, I guess, there was a fight at top where Gust pushed everybody away from the mosh pit. Other than for that one fight, all right, I guess it happens to make some mistakes. It's been pretty clean, and they're really lining up everything perfectly.
Even though they had the anti-synergy there, it still accomplished the goal. They stopped the combo, and they got the Punisher. So even though those didn't quite match up, it still worked out in their favor.
I love Europe. I don't know how many times I've seen solo Tassadar, but between Fnatic and Dig, like it's pretty neat.
I love you too.
Speaking of teams, now Fnatic's up 2-0, guys.
Yeah.
2 rows in front of me. They're all checking their phones and stuff. But that is Dignitas, who's going to be awaiting the winner of this. I wonder if they're going to have their eye on the game. Hi, Bakery, I see you.
And of course,
but I'm curious how much they're paying attention.
And of course, Misfits, you know, they're just not any team, and they are known to be really strong in offline tournaments. So I wouldn't count them just out yet. But on the flip side, though, if Fnatic continue the trend here, it's going to be really hard for Misfits to overcome them. And something that I touched on earlier during the second draft is Blumby. If Blumby struggles a little bit to hold the front line, to get those engages on, I really think that the entire team of Misfits struggles.
Yeah, it's true. Like I said before, a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Not saying, you know, not calling anybody out.
No, you're right.
If a player is having a bad game, it can change everything. If someone starts getting caught a little bit, you know, we saw in some of the earlier matches, some people getting caught out of position, you know, Mopsio, for example, for TBD, there was 1 or 2 times where it looked really strange because his team was doing well, but then he got caught and they ended up losing some of those games. So they need to stay on point here. You can't, against somebody as good as Fnatic, you're caught out of position one time, you die. That's the rest of the team being in danger and having to play it slow, pull back and all that. We're giving a lot of props to some players, but some guys we don't talk about as much is, I think, Schwimpy and Wooby, who've been having fantastic games here as well. Wooby on the Leoric, landing some great Entomb, and Schwimpy, like one of the original masterminds that we had in Europe and one of the best players.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what the next Battleground is going to be, guys? Cursed Hollow. So Cursed Hollow is a Battleground that can get very tricky at points. When you have those 2 boss pits, you know, wonky calls can be made and games can be decided very quickly. However, though, we see the draft now on the screen. Misfits.
Yeah, so obvious.
Yeah, right.
It's time to ban Falstad.
Yeah, the Falstad ban against Fnatic makes perfect sense.
Hey,
big surprise.
This is Cursed Hollow. They both excel very much on this map. So it's up to whatever you want.
Misfits' Tychus play has just not been working, to be honest, here in this match against Fnatic. So they might have to finally go away from that. They even picked him very early in the last draft, too.
Now, it's a big battleground, and Fnatic have been focusing on banning Illidan. So I'm wondering if maybe, if that really is the key to Misfits winning a game, if we're going to see that before the second phase of bans.
Oh, I mean, they have Muradin and Sylvanas. Maybe they let him go through this time and properly deal with him with some good heroics and CC.
Right. Keep in mind that Fnatic still also has a couple of heroes that they could pull out of their pockets. I mean, a Lunara, for example, we haven't seen her yet. That's definitely something that Misfit has to consider.
I don't think we see it as much on Cursed Hollow. It's still a possibility, and I think you can get a lot of the vision from the Wisp. But what they prioritize in their first 3 picks a lot on this map is Zagara, and Rhaegar. They like a
Yeah.
Muradin, but Muradin was taken by Fnatic, obviously going over to Breeze. But other heroes that they love on this map, Tychus and Sonya.
Yeah, they can also play heroes like Abathur, Lost Vikings. So that's not completely out of the question, but they go back to their Tychus here.
They're in love
they
with Tychus.
They haven't had any success with it against Fnatic. They still go through it.
That's really unusual for Misfits as well, because most of their players are known to have a really vast hero pool. So sticking to the same guns over and over again, in that case it's the minigun, is very unusual.
To me, that signifies that they feel like their compositions are fine. They just say, we need to play this better. We need to stop having people get caught.
Yeah.
We know how Fnatic are going to play.
And maybe they think that they just struggle against multiple warriors, so they want to have that, you know, as opposed to not having it and then really completely being lost. No, maybe they just think they just didn't play good enough in the previous games, which is definitely possible.
And Fnatic's like, what has worked in the past is probably going to work here as well. Illudan ban. Darkmug probably being prevented to pick one of his favorite heroes.
I think if Misfits don't ban, okay, they're going to ban Leo. So this is full on, we're sick of dealing with these heroes. I'm wondering if Fnatic will want to pick up Li Ming here. They've played her on Curse before, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if they have, but it's definitely a hero that's well. Actually, yes, they did.
They did.
Yes, they
No,
did.
they have.
That was the big explosion we saw yesterday to help secure the game. So they definitely like Li Ming on this map. I think it'd be a great pickup. And
Boom.
there she is right there.
That's why you guys are the best.
But the thing that I'm wondering about, because they also like a Nubarak from time to time, and this map in particular, but you have Tychus sitting on the other side, so I'm kind of curious what their thought process is going to be.
So with Schwimpy most likely going to be on Sylvanas, is it time for Quacknix to hit that Li Ming?
I think they'll switch it.
Right?
They did yesterday.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
with that, then they'll still put Schwimpy. You want Schwimpy playing Li Ming.
After
promised
a
me.
splendid performance like yesterday, he finally deserved it, I guess.
After he won on day one, I said,
Right.
Crowin, who knew Li Ming's on TV? And he said, not yet, but on Friday.
He's getting there.
Misfits, they really need some warriors
Sonya.
here.
Sonya's going to be coming. I just wonder, I feel like it's going to be Sonya and somebody else on the front line. And Johanna
Yeah, we haven't seen Johanna at all.
Is second most played hero.
I think it could be
ETC
good,
is
yeah.
still, ETC is still on the board, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Johanna.
ETC against that many people that can interrupt him, pretty much everybody on Fnatic right now.
Yeah.
Might not be the best choice. Maybe he goes stage dive, but yeah, I think Johanna here could be good with Sonya, as you mentioned.
Oh, Stitches.
Stitches.
All right.
Stitches
Time to
has
switch it
Damp and
up.
Magic at 1 if he opts to go with it.
Right, I'm sure he will, especially because Fnatic took that away, the only other option for that, and getting a new Barak, along with somebody to block his, or block her orbs as they come out.
Has to be another warrior though, right? Single warrior Stitches is something we haven't really seen.
It can
That
also
often.
be. Oh man, this is tough. I think Thrall is a possibility for them to fill it out, but I feel like it's gonna be somebody like Sonya. But the fact that they're waiting this long, Sonya would be their comfort pick. The fact that they're waiting this long means that they're debating the Thrall.
Thrall gives
right.
more follow-up to hooks.
And you think about the Lightning to be able to interrupt tribute pickups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of interrupts when you look at Zagara and you look at Thrall. Plus, he's also a very highly played hero for their team.
And for Fnatic, is this a guaranteed Karazim, or do we see maybe a Brightwing since they lost their global with Falstad that they would have liked to go into?
I don't think that they're high on Brightwing.
I don't see anything other than Karazim because not
This is
only
Specs.
yes, Specs has been very good on Karazim, but he
Pretty good.
has like amazing. Oh, I'm sorry,
amazing.
I'm sorry.
Very good at staring as
Doing
well.
it again.
He has Radiant Dash to take it away if he's hooked, which means he can be up in front as a
I feel
potential
very
hook
sorry
target.
for that cameraman right now.
He's losing.
He's
He can't
staring
win.
into our souls.
I think somebody just tapped him like, hey, we need you to lock in your pick.
He's
Can you
gonna be
lock in
so
your pick?
exhausted after the stirring
How
contest.
does he
that-
not blink?
He's an alien.
All right, we're canceling the game.
It's his pick as well. Maybe
1v1.
his team is waiting for him to call out, but he wants to play now. And he's like, wait, I'm gonna win this first.
They're gonna random something.
There comes the Karazim, the fitting roll here. And Smex is just not letting go. It is absolutely insane. I wonder if Whoopi is shaking his head right now.
He always has to sit next to him.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take a look at those drafts. If we compare them, I mean, the cameraman is really...
It's more intense than these games have been in
I've
terms
never
of
seen
being
a crowd
close here.
so like focused.
It's not
Yeah,
even
nobody's saying
drafting,
anything
it's
right now.
just-
It's almost like the crowd is in a staring contest with him. Everybody's looking so.
And every single
Somewhere
one of us-
Calaris is eating his pizza. and enjoying the staring contest. All right. Wow, he won.
Another victory.
I think that was the longest one I've seen yet.
Yes, for sure. All right, guys. Everything's on the line here for the Misfits. Do you think their comp has what it takes to finally start a potential comeback?
I'm going to go out of my way and say that Fnatic just controlled that draft. Misfits got what they're used to having, but I think Fnatic being up 2-0, that's what they wanted, and this is what they excel at on this map with those heroes they just picked up.
Guys, do you agree? Disagree with Jay here?
I think that Fnatic feel more than capable because they are on comfort picks, but I can't help but think that if Misfits' life is on the line and this is what they want to bring out, that they have a plan, and I believe in them.
All right, as we said, you know, it's all or nothing for the Misfits here on Cursed Hollow. It is going to be a very, very tight match here in the semifinals, and our casters, Dread and Calder, are just getting started.
We are definitely ready for the third game here. Fnatic is in a 2-0 lead already. The Misfits, they need to win 3 in a row now, and we have them to the left side. With Zagara, played by Norok, we see Hazovs on Tychus, Splendor on Rhaegar, Darkmog playing the Thrall, and Bloomy, of course, once again at that front line on his Stitches.
And for Fnatic, 1 game away from their ticket to BlizzCon, we have Sylvanas, played by Quacknix. Schwimpy is going to be on the Li Ming, Breeze on the Murden, Wubby on a Nubarak, and Smexy Style on the Katazim.
Smexy Style once again just like staring another camera into the ground. He's breaking equipment here.
Honestly, I got to the point where I thought he might have like a medical condition or something. Like the fact that he can do that is either that or he's like got life hacks and that it's unfair for him to compete in this tournament because that was unhuman.
Fnatic playing with androids, with bots confirmed. I mean, that was kind of scary for sure. Well, guys, this could be the game. Fnatic in the past, they had a few moments where they choked. They actually played against the Misfits at DreamHack Tours. They lost there. In the last tournament, they had a chance to also qualify for BlizzCon by taking down Dignitas, and in the end, they failed. Now they have 3 potential maps. They only have to win one of them to make it to BlizzCon. The Misfits, on the other hand, they've been one of the best teams in Europe for such a long time. They want to attend the biggest tournament of the year, but for that to happen, they need to win everything from here on out.
I mean, I've never seen this start of a game before. Fnatic with the Sylvanas once again is going to proceed to take out 3/4 of a health of a turret, and we see a 2-1-2, actually a 1-1-3. So we see Misfits mixing it up, not surprising considering they've been on the back foot. Tyka's aggressive positioning, they might be able to get this here. Stitches should come into play soon. He doesn't even open with his Q there. Breeze now is going to be under a bit, or excuse me, HotS under a lot of pressure. The deep haunting wave will confirm the kill there, and what looked like Misfits wanting to make a big play on that rotation, they proceeded to be the ones who died.
Quacknix going so deep on this kill there. No, I mean, like, no fear whatsoever. He said, no, we got this. And even if there's a counter kill, it's worth it. Jumps in deep. They confirm the first blood here. Great play for Fnatic to start things off with. And that's Sylvanas in particular, this time played by Quacknix, but overall, throughout the entire series, has already given them so much.
Yeah, it's done a lot for them overall. This only major difference between the last 2 games that we've seen when it comes to draft and this one is, I mean, obviously the Leoric's not here and things of the like, but more when it comes to the laning phase situation here is that Zag is in a very good lane for herself, having that 1v1 in the bottom half. You already see her getting out that harass. So as long as they deal with Sylvanas, right now Misfits finally is not on the back foot when it comes to the laning phase of the game.
Yeah, in this case, as we see the poll also on screen right now, we have Fnatic in the lead this time. People are starting to shift their opinion here. The momentum definitely working for Fnatic. The all-Swedish team right now with more towers destroyed up at the top. We are going into the first curse in just a bit. 2 minutes in, of course, the camps are going to spawn on the map. This is where we usually see the teams going for the Siege Giants, trying to get a good start into the match by grabbing a tribute. It all depends on the RNG. Who is that tribute, or where is that tribute going to spawn?
Yeah, for Fnatic, we actually see them looking to take the Knights rather than the Giants. And Misfits goes with the Giants. Misfits going for the Giants is actually, and Fnatic going for the Knights, they are going to be able to get in time, but there's a reasonable amount of wave clear for Misfits as long as the guard makes that rotation, because typically you want the Knights, because they take so long to clear, that you gain a lot out of them, whereas the Giants have the opposite potential to be on the opposite side of the map.
The Knights have the advantage that they always give you some value, whereas if you get the wrong spawn on the tribute, you can end up with not getting anything out of their Siege Giants. They're a little bit more risky to take though as well, because your opponent, if they realize what's happening, can always try to invade there. In this case now, hero that has been taken. And actually, a Siege Giant camp would have worked out in favor of Fnatic as that tribute spawns up at the top lane, where we already see the Misfits taking position here, also trying to guard the Siege Giants a bit longer.
And for now, Nurok is actually going to stay on the bottom half of the map, meaning that Zag will not rotate to those Knights, so Fnatic getting a lot of value out what I thought was not going to be that much. There we do see him taking half of the rotation, but for now, everybody dancing onto the tribute here. Breeze taking a bit of poke. Wubby halfway through his channel, gets interrupted to the hook. Still has his burrow. He's not afraid of anything, not even going to use it there. Actually going aggressively. Darkmok now, he's trying to run away. Will he be able to? Yeah, barely with 170 HP.
Gets barely out of there, and once again, the Misfits tapping at the fountain, trying to go for it. Down to the bot lane, we're seeing a bit of a rotation happening. Formerly Ming as well, setting up a slight trap against Zagara, who's now starting to go to the top to make sure that they can claim the first tribute. But guess what? Li Ming is also on her way.
Yeah, Li Ming is trying to figure out if she wants to compete to the rotations, but they realize they have so much delay potential here with those beetles because nobody on the side of Misfits is getting the clear. They're more worried about the experience advantage they can gain over their opponents. Give up the tribute here and look at this beautiful decision making from Fnatic. They are impressing me. Their rotations are so well thought out.
I love this. They do not just simply rotate one hero down.
No, they just go.
All the heroes immediately leave the tribute. They go to the bot lane. Look at this value that they're getting here. They have 3 heroes at the bot lane. They still get the experience in the middle thanks to Muradin. They destroy the wave. They destroy the wall. They have so much aggression and they secure themselves more than a half-level lead now.
Yeah, now Zagara is rotating down for that kill potential in the bottom lane. This is not ideal. The hook coming out was pre-cleansed. Even if it did hit, wasn't going to matter.
Very well done here. Great play, of course, once again by Smixy. His improvement over the last 2 tournaments is the most impressive that we have seen in a long time. He was the weak point of the team in the past, but right now he's one of their strengths. He's always so reliable. Whenever you go in, you know he has your back.
Yeah, I agree. He was one of the standout players at DreamHack Valencia, and he has not dropped in performance at all looking at his entire tournament at this tournament. We see the night camp's going to be rotated to, and Giants, a little bit of a mirror what we saw during the first tribute phase here, as the trip will be spawning in the upper right-hand side here. So we've had 2 spawn in the upper one. We know the third one will be playing on the bottom half of the map, and it will be in Fnatic or Misfits positioning here. So Misfits has breathing room, knowing that they are going to have a situation to where they'll be able to get the 3rd tribute most likely, but they need to be smart about the rotations here because, again, Fnatic's just been absolutely controlling every part of every game.
Breeze is trying to block a hook and a bunch of grenade. The Stormbolt doesn't hit though, dodged by Azobs, who dashed away. Now Thrall and Nubarak are making their way towards the spawn location, and we have Li Ming rotating top. That camp at the bot lane has to be defended, so Zagara is trapped at the bottom of the map a bit longer.
Yeah, she's stuck down there trying to get rid of it, which is leading to a lot of channel here for Fnatic, and they were able to pick up that tribute. Decent, because both teams are going to be... Oh, never mind, not so much. Swimpy.
Big plays here.
Swimpy right now has been absolutely insane in this series. And we were looking at some of his play yesterday and wasn't too sold on it. He burnt his teleport, so there's going to be a huge harass here. Will he be able to get the dash? Oh, I thought Hasu was going to honestly pre-dash expecting that blink.
Shrimpy is another big story for Fnatic. At the top lane, on the other hand, massive aggression as Thrall at the top is falling, but down here, Hazov's also in trouble. Once again, the potential to kill a hero, but this time Shrimpy not hitting the orb, a bit too far away. The level 10s are there, though. And I have to talk about Shrimpy for just a moment, but wait a moment, because Plumby is under pressure. Fnatic, they are using Sylvanas again. Quality's all over the place. They are trying to go for fort.
I can't help but give enough credit to Fnatic in the rotations. Just to give you guys an example of how insane it is what they're doing, they have the 2 best 1v1ers in the game on the side of Misfits, and only Sylvanas is really their only wave player, and they're just ruining the map rotations here. Also, Zagara win it with the Nidus network rather than going with Devouring Maw, meaning that they're worried about that map control, split pushing, everything and the like, but they've already been just so abused in that department. I feel like they're taking a very high risk here, Misfits, as we go into what's going to be a tribute fight.
They are definitely taking a massive risk, Red. You are so right. But now we have that tribute on the map. And once again, Wubby posturing here. At the top, there's still the remainder of a siege camp that was taken earlier. So that is going to give Misfits a bit of value eventually. Right now, though, Fnatic is still dancing around. Looks like they are actually thinking about giving it up, but Li Ming still with interrupt. And they're jumping on Darkmok down at the bottom here. They're trying to take him out. Bloomby is rotating into elbow. The Sun Ring is coming into play. And Wubby is solo. He gets palm though. The palm hits home. Smexy dashes out after save. saving Nubarak. Brings on the retreat now as well. They save everybody, or do they? Because Swoby is still isolated, and he's taken out by Misfits. They gained some momentum. That was the perfect reaction by the Misfits after Thrall got attacked.
Yeah, just seeing them split the C's and the Bile to be able to get onto the backline, doing a lot of damage there from Blumby. So the first moment that Misfits really feels like they have a lot of control. Meanwhile, Giants were pushing the entire time in the upper half of the map, which is a really good job for them now of getting them in a position where they're getting a bit more map control and pressure everywhere. Bot's going to be coming out for them. They won't be able to stop Fnatic from getting theirs, but at least a free four. Top's gotten a lot of value for now. Misfits opening up the map.
Misfits definitely back to business right now. Fnatic dominating the early parts with small advantages that they take everywhere on the map. But right now the Misfits, they are putting on the pressure down to the bot lane, where we are going to see that fourth fall. At the top, Sylvanas defending against the camp that we've been talking about. And Fnatic, they take their own boss.
Yeah, and one thing that is key to note here with Misfits, obviously anytime you can open the map, it's going to be a really good thing for you. But when you have Nidus Network, opening up the map as soon as possible, much like Abathur, you gain so much more value when you have kind of free control of how deep you can rotate, because you buy so much time by having very deep creep on your opponents here. So Misfits gained the upper hand, even though it was a bit of an even trade.
Tribute spawn at the top of the map right now is still the defense of the bot lane, where Schwimby with his with this Liming is trying to get a bit more damage in against the boss. They rotate up top. They know this could be a potential curse against them. The zoning is happening here already. And Splendor, is he going to get that channel? And Nubarak is there, goes for the Impale, uses it to interrupt Rhaegar once again. They are fighting for this, and both teams are closing on level 30.
Oh, that hook just so close to Quacknix getting the dodge. Now Wubby looks like he wants to take the fight to them. Blubby popping the Bile here, moving aggressively. Breeze getting pretty low, along with Wubby as well. Their health bar slowly getting trickled down on. We have no Sunder, but great job from Swimpy hitting an orb to balance out the health bars here in this skirmish. And there comes the hook.
The hook and the lockdown. Here comes the cleanse as well, but in this case, Wubby just barely escaping. Once again, Breeze at the front line helping him out. Down on the bottom, we see the drill being dropped now too. Darkbox still waiting for that Sundering, seeing if he can maybe move in from the side. Great positioning by him, and this is going to be a curse against Fnatic.
Yeah, such a patient play there from Darkmog there, now securing what is going to be the first curse of the game for Misfits. 13 tier advantage. Top 4 almost going to be down. Bottom has opened when it comes to the keep here. Again, opening up the map wherever they can. So keeping the Zagara on top, pressuring through mid. I would like to see them then make a major rotation to bottom keep, and then worry about the split pressure that Zagara can put on top keep, while they can get a lot of the damage done under the bottom half.
Both teams now on level 13. Norog is trying to get the value at the top lane. That, of course, Nidus Network is going to help him with quick rotations here. Bot lane is being deep pushed by Sylvanas. They can't risk taking damage on their keep here. And in the middle of the map, the rest of the Misfits trying to push Fnatic back, looking to see if they can maybe even get a kill. They have a lot of their heroic stuff. They can still use that Sundering if Darkmog gets a good position against that backline.
Yeah, just so much posturing here. The fact that they haven't moved aggressively already shows how weak their teamfight composition is. The hook and the Feral Heart is going to be able to land there at that point, and they weren't able to confirm a kill in any way. For now, it's just such a lackluster curse here for Misfits. The fact that they don't have a teamfight composition, we go with the Nidus Network, and they didn't split push, then they don't take the teamfight because they don't have the teamfight position. Honestly, it feels like Misfits just threw away 3 tributes, almost for free.
Well, they got at least a few forts here, so they got a couple of structures and took a slight lead, but they didn't really force anything besides that. The keeps are still fully intact. They didn't really go through here. We've seen a great cleanse once again on the side of Karas and Smexy, making sure that Wubby does not get taken down. It was crucial to keep Nubarak alive here. But both of the teams, again, on even talents. And talking about what I said before, Schwimby actually, another big story for Fnatic. In the past, and also a bit at this tournament, he was still one of those players that had problems performing offline. Since he tilted a little bit more easily, he always said it was one of his weaknesses, playing at an event. But right now he's getting stronger and stronger with his mindset, and he's able to just deal with these situations much more. We saw it on the first day. They fell behind, and it looked for a moment like they wouldn't even make it out of the group stage. And later on he said, you know what? I can actually deal with these situations a lot better right now. I feel a lot more calmer, and I'm going to show it in those playoffs. And currently, he's doing exactly that.
The fact that we see the Nidus Network coming out from Nurok, I really want to see him try and apply more pressure on the map. We only have one semi-decent, or deep if you will, Nidus Network on the upper half of the map and almost none to bottom. Concentration on the bottom half of the map is the most important because, again, it's the only one that's open for them, right? For the keep, for getting that pressure as best they can. So babying that whenever he can is really, really crucial. And the fact that he's kind of neglected that lane over a whole just makes me sad. I feel like they could be getting more value, again, out of Nidus because they've given up on team fights. And keep in mind, not having Maw on this map, not isn't just for normal team fights, that is their boss control, which half the games on this map, win conditions are bosses.
The only thing they can really do when it comes to that boss fight is try and use that Sundering perfectly.
Yes.
But the Maw, of course, is such a huge part when you want to isolate that backline, when you try to like jump on someone that is trying to hold that boss spot down. In this case, they are giving it up, and they need to get value out of the Nidus Worker to totally right with it. 16 on the board for both of the teams, and now we're talking about these bosses again.
Yeah, the boss is going to be started here for Misfits. They're going to be contested, though, as Nubarak spots it out in the rotation. Sylvanas has not moved anywhere. You see Nidus Network trying to gain value in the upper half here.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, he backs out, no split push pressure, and this is going to be Misfits pulling off of the 16-tier boss. Sylvanas didn't even make the full rotation and gets the tribute for free here because of the positioning.
She was hiding. Sylvanas was hiding, though. Sylvanas was hiding at the top to make sure that there was no information on the side of the Misfits. Great again for them. They get another campy push. Now they move in. That hook on the other hand against Breeze is a bit of a problem. He's jumping in deep and he's immediately using the healing static here. The drill is on the ground. Putrid Bile being used. Whoopi attack. He's slow. There is no palm in this case. He doesn't hit it. Reese moves out. Smexy's in trouble. He tried to dash in to save it, Uberok. It didn't work. He's waiting for his cooldown and he is jumping to Breeze. But still Splendor in hot pursuit as Durok moves in from the top. The hook against Smexy. The palm is triggered, but he is still going to fall here unless he can dash to Shrimpy. He is dying. It's a double kill. The Misfits, they miss the tribute, but they get 2 kills.
Yeah, and so with those 2 kills, now that's going to be a free boss on the bottom half. A double boss play here for Misfits. What they're going to be able to do in this situation is confirm the boss here. Zagara rotate through the bottom half, get the pressure, confirm the keep, and then make the split push rotation to the upper half of the map. Again, a little bit of abuse out of the fact that they went with the Nidus Network. We're yet to see them really get it, or even confirming the tribute for free. Either way, it's a double boss play and huge momentum swing in their favor. The most important thing here is that they don't really have a win condition yet. They can't end the game here without 2 to 3 kills, and their opponents are very close to getting their third tribute for the curse. So they need to make sure they're patient with these win conditions, because again, they aren't with them unless they get the kills, and then also make sure they don't panic because that curse is coming to play for Fnatic, because they can't do anything. So many forts are up for Misfits. I really feel like we've seen so many people throw at bosses in this situation. Misfits is going to do it as well. Free cleanse from Smexy, very well done.
Incredibly important here. These hooks are becoming a big problem. They were the reason why Karazim died. There's the boss stun. That could have gone really bad in this case. The keep is about to fall. The boss nearly defended, but the keep is going to go down either way. Breeze and Nubarak, Whoopi, they both tried to just like push back Misfits for now. The keep still has fallen and the Misfits are disengaging.
Yeah, Misfits not picking up a double boss play, instead committing all resources to try and make sure they are able to get a keep. I think they were a bit fearful of the fact that maybe they couldn't make the rotation in time to be able to get both of the bosses. It's a fight they didn't want to take, playing it more on the safer half here. So now, that leaves a win condition open for Fnatic. Not only that, a curse potential as well. I really will feel like worrying about denying the win condition for Fnatic is more crucial than the other way around, as we see Fnatic is going to get the start here. We see Breeze with the delay. Nurok does get the teleport to the upper half of Nidus Network here. He'll be able to scout it out with the roaches. They know they're on it. It's very low. This is so risk, Calder.
This is really risky, but that drill nearly falling to the boss stun. Once again, Nubarak moving out. We already see the Sundering at this point. They're starting to jump in here. They're trying to go on the point, but Breeze is already there. He has the healing static, of course. He also has Impact. Again, the hook, the silence is perfect. It could be any better, but the palm quite it isn't triggered. That's really keeping Bloom like, what a play! Karazim is down, and they steal the boss away.
The fact that they were able to keep everybody alive, like what just even happened? Wave of Force didn't even come into play. I 100% expected Blumpy just to instantly get knocked off. They used the Sundering very early. Again, that is their boss control without Zach having the Maw, and they still pulled ahead. Insane team fight here from Misfits, and now they're 2-2, and the Tribute boss control, 20 advantage. Everything is in their favor for the first time in this series.
Massive problem. Another great hook. Blumpy. Sylvanas is down. There is no palm to save him. Karazim is still down, and Stitches making the plays.
Yeah, one more kill, and they might be able to move in and end the game, honestly, with how much damage they have. The boss is taking a lot of harass from Schwimpy. He's doing a very good job ensuring that the win condition's limited. Now, closing in on 20, this turret will just barely get them to the 20-tier advantage. Do they risk the game here? 2 catapults creeping in through bottom.
Blumby.
The ball. Oh, this is scary.
Looking for a chance once again. Breeze in trouble. Jumps out, gets cleansed. Darkmok is going in deep, trying to take him down. Has the Bolt of the Storm, uses it. They have their 20. Their core is not falling. It's only scratch.
They could outplay so hard right now. 88%. If they all just back out, send Nidus Network down, look to get the cap. We do see a new Brack making early rotation. Now go for core. They can bait they can end the game right now. Everybody is worried about this tribute. They know it's cursed. Oh, they're backing out completely. Oh, they could have been GG here. Misfits. It was a little bit of a cheeky play here. They will get the tribute. Everything's still going in their favor, but man, I love when people abuse that split push potential.
Fnatic, on the other hand, they always kept a few heroes still back. He has that curse now against the red team, so Misfits are trying to make it happen. With the curse, they're pressuring the mid. They have 2 keeps already taken away, and they're going towards the bottom. The level 20 advantage is what they're looking at right now. Blumby is, of course, hoping for another big hook here.
They have to
take another hero down. 65% on the coin. You're right.
They have the chance right now. The catapults are going to be moving into applying timber. They have to fight off the core because they'll just ignore them. 65% is way too low. They need to move up Fnatic. Quit being patient here. This is your moment or you will lose this game.
They're starting to go in. Here comes the Misfits. That hook still being used. Blumby is waiting for a chance at this point. They're keeping them back. They're waiting. They're buying some time. The hook is missing. The follow-up Darkmok, of course, as well. Sylvanas pushing the top wave that is pushing in right now. No catapults on the core just yet, but Misfits is making their way over. The drill is on the ground. Going to target down that keep in the mid lane as well.
No way. How are they buying these time?
And with Misfits, they just don't go for it. They're not forcing anything here.
They're just waiting for hooks all day. That was the opportunity to be able to move in there and body their opponents. They have 20 advantage over them, and they're afraid to take the fight. They, again, not capitalizing in any way, shape, and form over the advantages they have. They are terrified to take any fight.
This curse did nothing.
That's the second in a row.
It did absolutely nothing. The keep in the mid lane is still alive. Sylvanas pushed the top lane. No value at the bottom of the map. The Misfits moved back, took the tribute, and got 0 value out of this.
I don't know. Misfits right now.
20 versus 20 now.
Exactly.
They lost the advantage. They have the 2 keeps, but besides that...
The boss can now be contested. You don't necessarily thrive when it comes to boss control, especially considering the fact that we have Repulsion now sitting on the other side of Fnatic, having a win condition and not doing it. They're depending so much on Zag to get split push value, but I've watched 19 minutes of getting almost none this entire game. This is so risky. Boss now start by Fnatic. They want this fight. They don't want to take the full boss.
They want the fight, and they know they have 2 keeps lost. Cigar actually was at the top lane for just a moment, moving down to the bottom right now. Darkmok is moving in. He has that Sundering. He still has it. They're going for the boss here. What we need to be careful. Sundering is in there. Immediately jumping on Trippy. The bomb is already triggering the silence, and then Breeze jumps deep for Cigar, but the boss is still being followed. Qualities is falling. This is the Repulsion. They don't get the boss, though. They're jumping under the core. Look at Trippy. He's getting the resist. No, he doesn't. He falls. It's a double. It's a triple, and Misfits are going to win the boss and potentially the game.
That was so close. It was phenomenal play.
Team kill. What a wipe.
Gosh, the fact that they got that boss was awesome. Their team fight skills, again, were outstanding for Misfits, but I can't help but feel like that entire game was not capitalizing when they had to, only taking the fights that Fnatic said, we absolutely need this, and they were never abusing the Cigar, that entire game.
Misfits were lacking the killer instinct of old a little bit in this game, but they still had some great fights. The hooks out of Blumby were phenomenal. That was a big game changer, that they were able to get these massive hooks, take heroes down. Blumby was always a threat.
I think a really good thing to point out as well is that Darkmok's follow-up was almost always there. The Feral Spirit never missed as a follow-up, and it feels like a lot of Thrall players do struggle with that talent, let alone being a follow-up to a major CC, and really their only major form of engage. So he did a good job, and also he set up so many biles that entire game for Blumby.
The coordination on the side of the Misfits is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of their biggest strengths. They've been talking about it in the interviews earlier on already. They have been playing for such a long time together. They know their playstyle, and they also know that if Darkmok is on that Thrall, that they can rely on him getting the flank in the game, and Blumby with these hooks once again, forcing fights that Fnatic just tried to avoid all game long.
Yeah, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And we saw so many team fights where Karzim wasn't able to get off his palm. Yes, he pre-cleansed so many hooks, but the ones where the hooks actually landed, there was almost no situation where he was able to keep them alive there. Even Schwimpy lying victim to what was the death hook of Blumby.
It was only the first step, though. It's a 2-1, and we, of course, are going to hear what the panelists have to say about this game before we head into map number 4.
All right, Blumby and his boys are back. The Misfits are still fighting. winning a very, very important game. I mean, one more loss could have meant the end for them in this tournament, guys. And we got to give credit to each and every single team member here. Bloomby hooking people when it was needed. I mean, Splendor always keeping everybody alive with those great Ancestor healings towards those end minutes or last minutes here.
The Ancestrals were on point. I mean, on the other end, like Smex, his cleanses. I mean, if there was, if you could have a highlight reel of those cleanses all game, they were pretty amazing.
Yeah, that one too, like right by their keep, the pre-cleanse. We were sitting out in front watching the game. We were all like, ah, they were so good.
Yeah, a lot of good things were shown here, but it's good to see Misfits here. They're still going to put up a fight, not quite a 3-0. You know, I think a lot of us were starting to think what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, they prove that they are a strong performing offline team. I mean, it really takes a lot of willpower to make that stand and make that potential first step to a comeback, J-Hal.
I think that this is definitely a good step. Next map, Blackheart's Bay.
Oh,
that's a completely different story, I think, when we get to it. But it's going to be up to them. It seemed like their draft was adequate. It was right up to what they wanted. I like the Thrall pick over the Sonya with what they did there. It allowed them to make plays to where Sonya otherwise went in the Sunderings. There was a couple of Sunderings.
Actually, that last really one, too. Everybody lined up. They got pushed into the box. But that Nidus play was crazy, by the way. Zaga was all over the place, dealing a lot of damage, getting out sneakily in front of Muradin at the end when it was time to get out of there. So really cool to see that come out.
We haven't seen Stitches a lot, but every time we do, there's a lot of thought put into how do we make these hooks really work. And what I liked here was they figure, okay, they're going to have Anubarak and Muradin, two warriors who will want to be up in the front, who can escape if they get hooked. So why don't we get heroes who are really good at taking out warriors, so when they do get hooked in, Tychus and with Giant Killer Thrall can just break them down, take a lot of hit points away fast, and then Fnatic are forced to just disengage or fight while they're low.
Yeah, and then let's try to take a quick sneak peek into the future here, guys. Next Battleground, as J-Hal pointed out, is going to be Blackheart's Bay. Now, that's a Battleground we haven't seen at all at the second regional here at Gamescom. Is there something we can maybe expect to come out of the ordinary? I mean, if you haven't played a Battleground in the tournament so far, how are you going to draft?
Well, I think you're definitely going to be seeing an Illidan ban.
Melee Assassins.
Melee Assassins, Sonya, high priority, but it also opens the door for another Abathur pick if they want to run it. You know, yeah, the globals for sure. You know, it's always interesting, I think, the fact that we saw a failed Zeratul, Jaina. There's certain maps I think it works on, certain maps that don't. So I'm kind of curious who's going to try and ban out who here.
And Falstad is still really good there too. One thing to note here is that Hazuov's back when he was on Wellmet a long time ago. That was one of their maps on which they were considered to be the best in Europe. And they, I guess, one of the only few teams that felt comfortable on this map somehow. So
yeah, and of course on Blackheart's Bay, almost like no other Battleground, strong solo laners are of the essence. I mean, a Zagara, there we go. We see her being banned. She is able to dominate that bottom lane and secure the bottom chest. Like, it makes her one of the strongest heroes on this Battleground, period.
Something that you guys have heard me talk about a lot, and I only have seen once in 2 regional events, Zul on this map does really well. And it's something that it is a hero that Nurak has played plenty of.
I'm going to throw in one name in here, Asmodan.
I was wondering if that was what you're going to be. Little
great minds think alike, Gilly.
It's Europe, not North America.
Well, you never know, but we would have an idea.
There's the Illidan. I told you guys, Illidan.
So there are so many mercenary camps when you add the doubloon camps from Skeletons to that you want heroes who can run off by themselves and solo those pretty quickly. Rhaegar is another good one and would pair very well with Illidan if that's where they want to go with this.
The one time that Fnatic doesn't ban it, finally, his first pick here from Misfits, Sylvanas has been prioritized a lot, actually, in a lot of these games as well, especially when you see, you know, Zagara and Falstad already being removed from the equation as range damage dealers. So wouldn't be surprised if we saw her come out.
Yeah, and instantly going into the Arthas, and if we see a Sylvanas here, I don't think that would be too crazy. I mean, the fact that Wailing Arrow can help silence Illidan and Arthas helps get the lockdown, those are 2 pretty strong counters towards Illidan. It's really interesting. I'm curious how Misfits is going to build. They're not afraid to run Tychus with an Illidan still. They did it yesterday. And I wonder if that's up, and we see the Lili ban. They want to make sure that they take all the Illidan counters off. But Gilly, Abathur, still on the board.
Are we going for the Hero League Holy Trinity here?
Tracer.
Wait, what?
Taken out by Fnatic.
Okay.
Why ban Tracer if there's already an Illidan? Do they think like both of them
Very
could be comboed
occasionally. You sometimes see them paired together.
It feels like Abathur or even like a Tassala, you know, is much scarier to have support somebody like the Illidan here.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. The Tracer band looking a little bit odd indeed. I think Fnatic is just trying to avoid any unnecessary shenanigans that Misfits sometimes are known to pull out.
Or maybe they figured out exactly what composition Misfits gonna go for. Tychus gets a lead on here against
They're not afraid of it at all.
The two warriors.
They still need at least one warrior, whether that will be here. Right.
All right.
We used to see...
Hello?
All right. I think the sound is actually cut off. Rip. Hello. Hello.
All right, guys, so the draft that we're actually seeing here looks so far that as Fnatic is actually drafting something really to focus on Illidan and disable him as much as he can. I mean, we have a Brightwing here, we have that Sylvanas, the Silence, Arthas helps out with it too. Do you feel that Misfits are still confident in this draft? They committed to the Illidan so early.
I think they're banking a lot on the kind of jungling-esque style when it comes to Blackheart's Bay, a lot with this draft. When it comes to the team fight specifically, Darkmonk has to be insanely patient with his target selection, mainly because with the Sanctification and Arthas, they're two of the best heroes against him, because when everybody's sanked, he has nobody to auto-attack, right? It's not so much the damage that you're stopping, it's he has no way to get a reset.
You know, often in the past when we saw the Misfits play a comp where they are trying to play the map more than the opponent, they actually rely on a force with the Mighty Gust or other disengage tools so that they can get away from them. This time they don't really have that option really. Once that we see the commitment from an Turiel after 16 with the Holy Ground, the Arthas also trying to jump in with a Howling Blast, they will have to face the music, and it's going to be very difficult for Illidan to just make the difference in these fights. I feel everything hinges on Darkmonk here.
But if he is able to bait out a lot of tools on the side of Fnatic to be able to deal with Illidan, I really feel like they're going to be in a position to thrive in these team fights, along with the fact that he has the jungling. I am surprised at how little wave clear was concentrated, though, knowing that we're moving into the Blackheart Bay.
I mean, Blackheart's Bay has always been a very, very special map. There's so much that can really happen here. You can be ahead, hold a lot of coins, suddenly you lose a team fight, and you are far behind. But again, it's that Sylvanas for Fnatic. Do you feel that with the priority that Fnatic has put into Sylvanas, that it would be an option for Misfits at some point to ban her out?
I think so. I honestly think it's a reasonable thing to do, is look towards the Sylvanas and worry about that ban at some point. The same thing I would say about Tychus as well for Misfits, though.
Yeah. Because the one thing that we've seen by Fnatic with that Sylvanas is that the Veiling Arrow always gets absolutely insane value in these fights. Sometimes it was really the one thing that decided over winning a team fight big time or losing it completely. So right now we have, again, Shrimpy on that Sylvanas after Quarknix was on her in the last map.
In a bit... And here we are going to be getting into match number 4 here between these two teams. On the left-hand side, we're going to have Misfits, where Darkmonk will be playing the Illidan, Blumby on Muradin, Splendor on the Rhaegar, Nurak playing the Li Ming, and Tychus played, as always, by the Hasuops.
And to the right side, it is Fnatic, the 2-1 lead in the best-of-5 series. They have Shrimpy on Sylvanas once again, Breeze on the Tyrael, Quarknix is back on the Bit Bat Wolf, he's on Greymane, Wobby on Arthas, and Smexy on Brightwing.
And so the laning phase of Blackheart's Bay is very, very crucial. The top two lanes being so close to one another. Typically, you see teams worry about babying those, getting structure damage, wait as long as possible to gain more value out of your early shots, which is then a snowball. And then we see on Misfits side, it's going to be a bit more of like, let's send Illidan, get all the side camps wherever we possibly can. It's very important to make sure your laning is smart here. And honestly, with how dominant Fnatic's been, even with what I would consider inferior laning, I feel like they're going to be able to out-rotate their opponents greatly.
Yeah, well, for now we actually have a very traditional split with the 4 heroes up at the top. Sometimes you see actually someone just move down to the bot lane and try to make sure that they at least secure 5 coins out of the bottom chest. For now, it's Illidan versus Arthas at the bottom of the map, and we're looking up here at the top lane. It's already Tychus being in a position where he is just waiting to see what exactly they're going to do here, and they decide to go to the bot lane to make sure that they get the chest against Arthas.
Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable to not be able to win the upper chest here for the composition on the side of Misfits, but for now we see heavy rotations for Fnatic to the upper half of the map here, and that's a winning trade for them. Again, if you can dominate the upper two, much like on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen or Dragonshire, winning those side 2 lanes is insanely valuable. Blumby trying to steal some of the coins, but it's not going to be able to happen to him as Misfits did secure the bottom chest.
Yeah, so it's an even split for now when it comes to the coins. They rotate to the top again. Wave clear, as you said, is something that is incredibly important here, of course, now as well. And on this map, it means if you take down the structures, you make your own objectives so much stronger, since objectives, similar to Sky Temple, are attacking the structures of the opponents directly.
Yeah, and we see everybody rotating up except for the 1v1 on the bottom half here for Skirmish dealing with the wave clear. Schwimpy under a bit of pressure. Stormball's not going to land, though. He haunting wave away. And Fnatic gaining the upper hand only because they're controlling the movement here at Misfits once again, actually stopping them even halfway through the rotations. They're doing such a good job. And again, with how well they've done in the first 3, I really feel like they're going to snowball this game out of control, and it's all up to Darkmark to turn around those fights.
It feels really that Misfits should try to play a style where they engage into fights. And so far, Fnatic, looking at this series, has done a fantastic job playing the map, playing the opponent, out-rotating them, getting the wave clear in. And whenever the Misfits could face strong fights, they actually came out ahead.
Yeah, but one positive that we see now, Misfits is hitting the time frame where the coins are going to be spawning on the map. So we're going to see them trying to control here. Actually, we see an aggressive movement there from Breeze. Blumby going to Dwarf Plus out, but now Illidan gets to do Illidan things. He's going to already start here onto the Giants. He's going to collect all the coins and kind of stealthily turn in here and there when he can. And Tychus is in a reasonable lane for him as well. In the 1v1s against tanks, he usually does better than some of the other heroes here. So for now, their laning rotation is now better because, again, the coins that are going to be on the map for the Illidan.
Both of the teams are now focusing on the camps, but we are still seeing Schwimpy at that top lane. And again, he's getting the value against the structures. And the more of those you take down, the stronger your own objective becomes. The first barrage, of course, hits the mid lane. After that, the top lane is prioritized, and then it's the bottom fort. So this part, or this rotation, is always going to happen when you start to get those turn-ins. Both of the teams hold 10 coins now and could start with the first barrage if they successfully turn in.
And because Misfits is actually losing the upper rotations, they've done little to no damage here to any of the structures, making their comp the turn-in style that their composition's based around, and those little skirmishing and the jungling style from Darkmark is going to be very teamfight oriented. And if Fnatic waits patiently with these coins, keeps abusing the map, their early turn-ins are going to be insanely more valuable than Misfits, making it to where Misfits is 100% banking on winning a team fight in the late game. Otherwise, they're going to lose the game.
And Schwimpy's Sylvanas was absolutely fantastic in game number 1 and game number 2. And he's, of course, going to try and have the same impact here in this 4th game. The chests have spawned again up to the top lane. We're seeing big pressure against the wall once more as both of the teams are rotating towards the objective, towards the chest, to gain more coins.
Yeah, and look at that aggression there on the bottom half. The polymorph onto Blumby. Dwarf Toss coming out. He will be able to survive there, stealing 3 of the coins. Good job for him as Rhaegar was able to secure the upper half there. That was a very big win here for Misfits, controlling that many coins on the map. Again, because they have committed to this early turn-in style, and they aren't winning when it comes to structure rotation, so as many coins as possible is going to only benefit them because it's going to get to a point where they are going to get desperate.
Now, one thing that we still have to turn out, to talk about, they have actually done damage at the top lane, but the mid lane was not really affected by the early game pressure. So this turn-in is not going to do as much as they were hoping hoping for. If they could have put a bit of damage onto one of the towers, maybe 50%, that would have been enough to eliminate the fort right away. Now they, of course, don't get as much out of it, but they still have a slight advantage. Down to the bottom of the map, on the other hand, the fight is starting, and Smexy is the one who's falling, losing some coins. Darmok with great engage here, and once again proving that you just don't run from an Illidan.
Yeah, this is an approach to kind of this map that we've seen a lot more in the North American scene is, even though, yes, they didn't do too much value on the mid lane, it doesn't really matter where you're doing the damage, as long as those early turn-ins open up the map, because then you can manipulate the coin advantage and experience advantage so much better than if you just blindly turn in over and over again, which is the approach I feel like Misfits has to take, again, because they have a skirmish-oriented composition.
They get their own turn-in now, and at least the turn-in took down the fort in the mid lane. Splend, on the other hand, at the top, is under a lot of pressure here. Schwimpy, you can really tell, was thinking for a moment of going in. Arthur's being blown to pieces at that bot lane, as Fnatic was attempting to go for the camp here, but the Misfits are now turning up the heat. They go in with that camp. They can obliterate this entire wall.
And now 13 coins sit in their possession as well. After that pickoff here, we see Darkmok getting a bit aggressive as well. They've already confirmed one turn-in, and their opponents are only in possession of 9, so they sit in a situation where they have the complete control of the coins, and the fact that they're moving into another turn-in here, personally, I don't know if that's a winning trade. The fact that they're burning this many coins for the early structures, they're losing top structure, and that is, in the long run, Fnatic's turn-ins are going to be so valuable, and they aren't increasing the cost of those turn-ins here for them. It is something we used to see as the main approach to this map, but I honestly feel like it's evolved so much to where structure damage is all that matters.
I totally agree. I really feel that what they're looking at right now is an approach where they attempt to snowball. They're trying to get the early turn-ins, get a bit of experience, maybe get the talent lead, and then control the map even more. But as you said, they're not getting as much out of these early turn-ins that they potentially could. And with Fnatic pushing the lanes in the meantime, putting the structure damage in up at the top lane, their own turn-ins will be so much more valuable and will easily bring them back.
Yeah, it's a really awesome strategy to have, because when you get that structural advantage and then also have the coin advantage and experience because you're dominating in the structure department over your opponents, it didn't even matter that you lost the first 2 to 3 turn-ins as long as your experience is there. A bit of a skirmish though, Darkmok trying to be aggressive, Sanctification getting baited out very early. That is a big win here for Misfits. Again, that needs to be removed if Darkmok's going to be able to thrive in these fights.
Also a quick note on the heroic ability for Brightwing. Brightwing going into Blink Kill, great talent of course if you want to support a hero like Greymane, and also if you want to reposition yourself during these battles. But we have seen a lot of Emerald Wind actually, and against an Illidan, Emerald Wind has always been a tool that a lot of teams use to just put him out of position. For now though, Illidan is jumping too deep into the backline again, actually starting to rest Quatnix, the honest Greymane, and HotS is helping him out as well. Once more, Breeze being completely isolated, and he's dying, but the coins are still in their possession.
That was a huge Wailing Arrow, almost confirming the kill on Darkmok, but Ancestral and Metamorphosis was able to keep him alive, denying a bit more of coins and confirming the experience advantage here for Misfits. Structurally, they are far ahead of their opponents now. They burnt 2 of their turn-ins. Getting as many coins off of Fnatic is huge, again, because they don't win when it comes to structural pushing and map manipulation here. This is the first time we've really seen Fnatic not have complete control over the map. Personally think that Leoric ban, large reason for it. The fact that they haven't gone into this just constant wave clear, push, split pushing, split soaking strat, and now they finally have to take the fight into Misfits. Misfits is just licking their lips like, please, we know we've got this.
Leoric would have been a huge asset on that top and mid lane for sure. Again, will be completely out of position thanks to that wave of force. Great usage of that heroic ability, and now they're jumping on Smexy too. It's 4 kills against 0, nearly level 13 talents for the Misfits now. They're controlling the pace of the game, and with them being this close on 13, they are also going for both chests at this point.
Yeah, the timing of those chests was worst case scenario, with Arthas already being dead, allowing Misfits to pick up their coins even farther over their opponents. 15 in their possession, where 12 only for Fnatic. If they try and take the skirmish and are successful, that'll be 12 coins on the line, 27 in total here for these 2 teams. It looks like with Illidan, they aren't going to worry about that rotation yet. 13 tier advantage picked up. I expect them to make that skirmish. Again, their comp thrives in this situation.
Blackheart's Bay once again looking strong for the Misfits. Illidan making the rotation right now. Shrimpy still attempting to turn in. They're going for Blumby here, putting some pressure on, but Illidan is with him in just a moment. Norik is already under pressure down here. Breeze is also moving out as Arthas uses his heroic, goes for the army. Breeze a bit in trouble. Blumby going deep to zone them out, and Wobby, just look at him. He's being followed by Illidan the entire time. Illidan jumping deep into Greymane right now. There's Blumby. They're being chased the entire time. The talent advantage for Misfits is so strong. Sanct, on the other hand, is amazing and immediately a Wailing Arrow as a follow-up.
Yeah, and the polymorph there to stop the Ancestral, but it will go off, and now you see them running. Schwimpy's the main focus here because he has 8 of the coins. While we sacrificed, that was a huge play for him to be able to buy time for his team. They didn't lose a single coin. That was phenomenal job there, because if they lose that fight there and stack a double turn-in against their opponents while they're already behind structurally, they would be honestly almost on unwinnable level of disadvantage. So that was very good job. Wubby sacrificing himself so that his team still has an opportunity as this game moves on Blackheart's Bay.
A long and drawn out fight, way too long for Fnatic to get value. Misfits here playing a phenomenal game. They get their own turn in now. Wubby saving the coins of the rest of the team, but they need to come back into this somehow. And the first thing that they really need is level 13. They were always at a talent disadvantage when this fight happened. They were hoping to turn in their coins as Illidan was still up at the top. Then they were focusing on Liming. Nurok a bit split from the rest of the team, but as soon as Illidan joined up with the rest of his teammates, Fnatic was on the back foot, and they lost another hero here.
Yeah, and now they have the double camp pressuring the bottom half. A turn-in is available here, or almost available, not quite yet. 14 coins. For Misfits, they're going to get as much structure pressure as they possibly can, with mid doing so much damage as well. That's going to be a turn-in's going to confirm a keep here for them. And this is a really smart play. With boss being started, they've already picked it up on the side of Fnatic. Watch this. This is a heavy misconception on this map. Boss does almost nothing because of how long this lane is. They're going to gain insanely more value just rushing it.
Look at that double camp here. Sylvanas is trying to push that back. They actually don't commit it. They're a bit afraid that they might not be able to take it down because they don't have the level 16 just yet. Totally fine here. The double camp, on the other hand, can a lot of value, and the boss up at the top lane, not really doing a whole lot just yet. Went through the fort, but they can still back up to defend against it.
Yeah, but the fact that they're actually delaying this turn-in so slow, their retreat was a little bit too much Blumby. Good zoning. There we go. And now let's take a minute to appreciate the decision-making here. Will Fnatic gain the upper hand by deciding to move towards this boss? It is... I cannot express to you how many people think, like, because on Curse Hall of Bosses change the games, right? But Blackheart's Bay is a beast of its own. Not quite the case here, as it barely is going to be able to take out the front wall.
They actually just trade the boss for a turn-in. They're saying with them dealing with the boss at the top lane, we get a free turn-in right now. We can put the pressure onto the bot lane here, at least get rid of that fort, claim some experience back. They see that the Misfits are heading into 16, and they know they have to somehow soak those 1.5 levels. And one way to do it is to at least take down the bot lane fort and structure so they get a few more experience to get closer to that.
Yeah, but now with 16 tier advantage for Misfits, they have enough coins, I do believe, in their hands. They had 14 turned in, 2 left in their possession. They will be able to confirm another turn-in. That will be a mid-keep going down for them, and half a keep on the upper half of the map, so they are in complete control. Then once they get done with that, we have the beautiful shots, because that value they got on bottom will be threatening the core.
And another, yeah, exactly, another turn-in in this case would eliminate both remaining keeps. So if they get 2 turn-ins here, Fnatic would be with it back to the wall as is. Right now, we're having the turn-in completed. Misfits are going to get the mid keep thanks to it, and they are rotating again. They're actually trying to pressure the bot lane.
This is such a pretty spot to be in if you are Misfits. There it is. Mid is completed. They're applying more pressure here on the bottom half. With 16 tier advantage not available for their opponents, they should be able to get it. Tyrael is desperately trying to soak in mid, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to take at least 3 waves here. Darkmog may be getting a little bit too aggressive, but over time this harassment will confirm. And that means that the next turn-in will be threatening a little bit of damage on the core, not too much, but they are finally at the point where they might be able to close out a map on Blackheart's Bay.
Misfits looking so different on the last 2 maps right now. They struggled in the early 2, but right now they are actually so far ahead that it looks more and more like they might be able to just confirm a tie against Fnatic and bring this into a 5th map. Fnatic finally is about to hit level 16. That's the moment when they want to take a fight. They know that with them losing structures in the middle, at the bottom, and they keep at the top lane also being damaged, they need to win a big battle right now and get value out of Sylvanas, or they will lose this game.
Yeah, and they're looking to desperately take this fight because they know the coin control is going over to Misfits, and it's only going to get worse. Bottom Knights are soon going to spawn. Knight pressure on the upper half. Somebody will have to answer to overtime. Brightwing already looking to get that rotation. Oh, the chest spawning, a huge positional advantage for Fnatic. This is great breathing room for them, because that would have been the 3rd keep if those coins go over to Misfits.
Reese is hiding here for a moment. Coins are being taken. Once again, Blumby going in. They're trying to blow up Tyrael. Reese moving out, getting healed here with a blink heal, and they retreat up to the top lane. A bit more value as is for Misfits. They have another camp, or a remainder of a camp that's pushing it, but this team fight could decide so much right now. Quarknix going deep. He's already isolated. They use the sanctification here. The army is also being popped as Blumby is getting attacked. He's trying to get the stun run in once again as the backline is being silenced by Sylvanas. Here comes Nurok and the value. Dartmok going deep. Ancestral. Dartmok still there. They're going for Illidan. They could finally take him out. Nobody's dying just yet, but look at the hit points on Fnatic.
7 coins are now going to be lost here for Wubby as he tries to retreat, and that is going to confirm enough coins for a turn in. Knights were pressuring on the upper half this entire time as well, getting a little bit of value, but this is pretty much putting the nail in the coffin here for Misfits.
Illidan.
The fact that they lost all the coins for the turn in and they're so far behind structurally and levels, they need to, there's almost no way to come back.
Right now, this turn-in is not only going to eliminate the keep at the top lane, but it is going to pressure the core itself. They could try and just simply go for it, but they go down to the bot lane first. They want to just keep up the pressure. Dartmok was so close to dying in that last fight, but as you can see here right now, he still survived. He's getting value for his team. The shots are fired against the core, and Fnatic, how can they come back into this? This looks like it's over. They can just simply right-click the core now. They have the complete control over the map. This is a disaster for Fnatic on Black Ops Bay.
Not taking a 5 vs 3 is the way to win this game. Sanctification coming into play here. They're trying to get on the retreat. Quacknick's barely making it happen here. The shots confirming that tower in the bottom half, now looking towards the core. They don't have 20 advantage quite yet, and it won't be able to break past the shield in this game. Actually, it will. We'll see how much damage it's going to be able to do percentile-wise. Here on the core, a little bit of shield left, and with probably 11.
Yeah, not going to be too much. 93% still on the core, but the big story is those 3 keeps missing. Every single time there's a fight over a turn in, 3 lanes will push against Fnatic. They already have to defend. That means they have to give up the map control. And all those small camps that we see, they are just completely forgotten right now. Misfits are going from one pirate camp to another. They're taking Siege Giants, they're putting on the pressure, and another turn-in for them would end this game. They already have 8 coins, and they're looking to make it 20.
Yeah, next turn-in is GG here as
Boss
they're closing
would be GG as well.
If they go boss, like Illidan can just solo the core. The fact that we've seen such passive coin play here on the side of Misfits with that advantage that they have, they're afraid of the 20. This is the only way they can lose this game, is risking this fight. The fact that they're willing to take this is insane.
It's a 5 vs 3. Arthas
it's insane.
isn't there. Arthas is not there. They can go for it. They're going for the battle right now. Sanctus on the ground. They're trying to steal the boss at least. Boss is taken. The fight is raging on. Quacknick's being jumped. Arthas is attempting to help him out, but Brightwing is already eliminated. A 5 vs 4. Illidan is doing Illidan's thing. He's killing everything. He takes down Greybane. He's jumping after the rest of the team. This is gonna be game. Boss or no game. Level 20 is finally there for the Misfits, and they can finish this. Arthas dies, and Fnatic will lose map number 4.
Evening it up here, 2-2. Misfits with a very impressive showing here. For the first time, just not getting out-rotated by their opponents. It seemed like they had control throughout the entire matchup here, even though I can appreciate Swimpy's efforts. Sadly, it is not going to turn this around. And again, when we're talking about that, Arthas wasn't there, but Misfits had no reason to believe Arthas was not in that position. He could have made the rotation away through the minion wave. And so even though it was a safe fight, he had no rotation at all. They had no reason to believe that it was only going to be those 3 there. And it was the only fight that they weren't 20. They could have just gone to the core. Again, that boss is not a good play in any way. Giving it over, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have taken that fight, because obviously they were absolutely destroying it, but it was the only situation where Fnatic goes, we have a shot in this game, is taking that fight.
Fnatic loses the game. We talked about Misfits having to win 3 in a row, and they already won 2.
Yep.
The final game, that's what it comes down to. Will Fnatic lose once again and choke Adeline, or will they now claim victory and get that ticket to BlizzCon? They are so close, but all of a sudden the momentum is fully in the hands of the Misfits.
Yeah, and if Misfits manages to take out this series and move on, depending on their success versus TIG, they might have to get a little salty run back right into them. We're going to have to find out. And just this draft over the next game, I think, are really going to influence who pulls ahead. Leoric being off the table, Fnatic suddenly doesn't look nearly as powerful, 11-0. Almost no map manipulation over their opponents. It seems like Misfits is the team fighters. Fnatic is the ones with the little dirty skirmishes here and there, and wave clear advantage.
Misfits had always a good history in Black Ops Bay. Now we're going into Tomb as the 5th map, though, and that's going to be a completely different ball game. Fnatic had insane games there. But as we are heading into game number 5, we are going to hear from the panelists what they have to say about map number 4, where the Misfits tied the series.
Thank you very much, guys. And wow, Misfits are at the brink of making it all the way back to that victory that they really need. I mean, it is only one more victory to decide who's going to advance to the finals here, to meet Dignitas, of course. And I'm going to say one thing. I think Fnatic should consider banning Illidan again.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. There's a reason why we saw it banned before.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I see now why they banned him so much. Darkmok was a terror on that hero.
He was an ideal map for it here too, so that definitely helped. But from being up 2-0 and having so much momentum to having the opponents come back 2-2, you have to think, you know, this has to be tough here on them. Right now, they need to stay focused. They had a fantastic game 1 and 2 here, Fnatic. If they recollect, finally, I guess, go for a better plan than letting Illidan get away, I think they're going to be able to seal it. But Misfits are really gathering some good momentum themselves.
There's something to say about every set I see Fnatic in. Against Dignitas, against TBD, against Misfits. They like to push it to the brink and make things exciting.
Yes.
We're going to the maximum amount of games they can possibly play all weekend.
But let's break down the game on Blackheart's Bay a little bit more, guys, because we all know Blackheart's Bay can get somewhat snowbally, but for the most part, I think it was just Misfits really executing their comp well, playing very efficiently once again.
What do you guys think about the pickoffs? Because it seemed like Misfits was able to get picks whenever they wanted them. Bottom, top, they managed the rotations, and it seemed like they punished the Brightwing pick as well.
They did punish the Brightwing, and it's something that we haven't really seen Spexy play too much. I remember one phase shift in, it was too late, and then he was put in a bad position. A lot of times you can get great saves on Brightwing, but you can also just as easily phase shift in too late and give 2 kills to your opponents instead of 1. I know they were trying to get to late game, where at 16 they would have Remorseless Winter and then vulnerabilities too, maybe even greater polymorph, but on Blackheart's Bay, that map punishes you trying to get to the late game. They had lost 2 keeps by that point.
Even having Blink Hill and having to blink in made it so dangerous for this poor Brightwing to go in and help the rest of his team. He was always under threat.
Yeah, and of course there were many team fights in this game, and Jehao is going to talk you through one of the most intense ones.
Speaking of intense, I think it was that last fight I think we all saw up at the top of the boss. Fnatic needed to make something happen, and you know, they held on for a little bit, but you can see the rotation on the right side. Darkmok already putting pressure on, and Sylvana's doing whatever she can to stay alive. Nice haunting waves. The Sanctification was already used on the backside, but Brightwing the first to fall, but Darkmok, this is why he's been banned out. There's the Ancestral to keep him alive, but the play from Darkmok in this game in particular, I mean, there was even plays where he was getting in, you saw body blocks, you saw Misfits all on the same page. When you play your comp, I said it, like the very last thing I said on this stage was, it seems like they drafted for Illidan.
Yeah.
But Tychus did so much work. Li Ming did so much work, and I feel like they missed out on drafting. Fnatic got bodied in the draft, got bodied in the game.
And I mean, that's one really cool thing that you can observe when you have an Illidan in your comp. He's pulling so much attraction on himself that the backline, a Li Ming, a Tychus, can just do whatever they want, Gilly.
In that fight specifically too, Splendor was really great. You wanted to be babying the Illidan. The rest of the team was together, and he was there with Illidan. The minute Illidan says, okay, I'm going to go forward, Ancestral comes out, he splits, knows Darkmok can take care of himself by that point, comes up with a Storm Shield, saves the rest of the team. It was great plays from every member of Misfits, and now they have nearly completed the reverse all sweep.
First person that died there, Brightwing. And she was so isolated from her team. Again, Tychus and Li Ming, I mean, it's just like easy pickings. They were able to get any type of lockdown that they wanted. They got the split. And Illidan basically forced them to divide. From the very beginning of that fight, Sylvanas had to use the Haunting Wave to get away, use the double with that 13 just to create distance. And Illidan stayed right on top of it.
It was Zagara that they banned last game, right?
They did ban Zagara.
I mean, Zagara had a fantastic game when she was there on Curse Solo, but then when they banned her, then Illidan had a fantastic game. So what do you ban here if you're Fnatic?
Well, the thing is Illidan's not that great on this map, Gilly.
Do you guys think that Emerald Wind might have made the difference there?
It was tough, because he could always metamorphosis out of it if you try and isolate Illidan. Depending on the discipline, and you're looking at somebody like Darkmok, it's a questionable call from time to time.
Misfits is all zen right now, and they really need to keep their calm. I mean, they cannot afford to let the nerves get to themselves. They have to really focus, because everything's on the line here. 2-2 in that second semifinals here to determine who's going to advance to meet Dignitas in the finals.
This is a favorite battleground of Fnatic. Has been throughout this event. So at least they're first picking Tassadar.
Wow.
So maybe that is an indication of, again, solo support Tassadar, letting SMX be on more comfortable hero than Brightwing.
And making sure they grab the foul stat this time, going to be... Actually, no. It just disappeared. the unpicked.
You know what else they love on this that Misfits doesn't have a problem taking away is Lunara. And I think that's a big, big thing that I'm curious who's going to prioritize it and when are they going to prioritize it. Because if it gets through, you got to expect Fnatic to pick that up after the second ban, or it to be banned, or Misfits might try and take it early.
Right, so we see...
Like there.
Like right there, Fnatic grabs it.
Great call.
It almost seems like, especially on Tomb of the Spider Queen, if we think back on the first regionals, guys, at Valencia, we saw those crazy long games against Dignitas when Fnatic was playing the Lunara. So maybe it's their weapon of choice to just feel a little bit more comfortable and slowly but surely find some stability back in this series.
Yeah, another Sylvanas coming out here, as well as Tychus. They still want to stick here to that Tychus. It finally worked. And Sylvanas just been solid all around. Almost any map, really. You can really push in very well. Good deep push. When those web weavers will come in as well, really going to help a lot, take out a lot of these structures. But the Tychus is so curious because the first few times that I saw it out of Misfits, I thought, okay, well, is this a thing that they practice, you know, for the group stage or something? Is this like a one-trick thing that you do? But no, throughout the entire tournament, they just keep on using it.
Yeah, they may recycle out which other heroes are around him, but the Tychus is a constant.
Well, look for a false stat pickup here. I wouldn't be surprised if they go without, obviously that's still being on the board. It's a hero that they love to play alongside Lunara on this map with the Tassadar. With Leoric being banned out though, Gilly, that seems that Misfits wants to take away what they know Fnatic likes to run. I'm trying to figure out what they can run alternatively.
Maybe a noob. They like having warriors, if it's a solo support task, right? Warriors who have escapes, some self-sustain. Also Muradin.
So let me raise one question here, guys. We know that Misfits brought Tychus into this tournament, and I think HotS played it almost every single time. Why do teams not ban it away from Misfits?
I think there's just higher priorities. I mean, you know what you're getting into, and so you can prepare for that. And there's higher priorities on things that could create. So let's say you have an equation, right? And you know that there's only going to be one answer. But then if you enter in another variable, it could easily change it to where all of a sudden you might have a couple different directions they can go. If you send them into the one direction you know that they're going to go, you can draft against it a little better.
You know, the Stitches are going to be coming out for Fnatic.
Double sustain heroes. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just throw Sylvanas then at the end.
Yes, Sylva's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sylvanas on the other side.
But normally, definitely.
I'm just.
Falstad's still being ignored. The same can be said about Kel'Thas. So a lot of these normally high priority ranged assassins being left out exclusively.
I think Fnatic realized that Falstad probably wasn't going to be picked by Misfits because they needed support and they already have 2 range damage dealers. So they maybe save it for last year, I think.
Anybody know where Kel'Thas has been lately?
Falstad, though, Quacknix plays both Falstad and Lunara.
Blazin.
Sorry?
No, that's what I thought what Kel'Thas was doing. In the meantime, you know. He's just not being played anymore.
I'm just, are they going to prioritize having somebody like Sonya? That way you have an extra wave clear there. I mean, Sylvanas does good. Tychus is okay with his grenade. Sonya, it's something that they like to run. It's something that they like to pair on the front line with somebody like Tyrael. So I think maybe even the Thrall could be back in here as well.
Something to beat up there with Tyrael.
The thing what I oftentimes see when teams play against a Tychus is that they sometimes get confused by the Draken laser drill. If you don't have enough burst damage to kill that thing instantly, it's going to pose a serious zoning tool to drive you away from objective where you normally want to be at.
Oh, Kerrigan to actually move in with the TRL and be kind of protected, and also to roam and try to catch some people.
I mean, that's a huge threat to the back line.
And Falstad, pretty quick pickup.
Can you believe that the last hero,
Not even going to consider Kel'Thas here for a second. Immediately straight into Falstad.
So what do we make of this Kerrigan here? Kerrigan normally needs a buddy to sort of follow up or either, you know, lay the foundation of a crowd control. She normally struggles a little bit when she's the only one with a stun. On the side of Misfits here, we don't really have a lot of that.
No, but in later you will have Holy Ground. And
you gotta get to the lake in first, though.
It's true.
Right? Well, if we know anything about Fnatic and Tomb of the Spider Queen, you're probably getting to the later game.
And also, like, if you think about his teaches, like, who do you land a hook on? Like, if you bring in Kerrigan, you know, she just like I guess, starts landing the stun, ultimates,
Or
combos
just jumps
everybody.
to a minion some more way.
Yeah, and TRL comes in, helps and all that. It's going to be counterproductive. Like, you're going to have to try and hook the backline, but Tychus, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to be safe away from the action.
There's one huge pro and there's one huge con to Kerrigan on this map. The pro is that you have tight chokeholds and you can really get some good combos and you've got people to land it behind it. The con is that there's really tight chokeholds. You can't get the right type of angles. Now, Kerrigan can come in from different angles. If you think about other maps, like Infernal Shrines or something else, you can rotate around and get different angles. Basically, when you come in as Kerrigan, sometimes you have only 1 or 2 avenues to come in, so it can be a little bit predictable. It makes it easier to land, but it also makes it easier to hop onto Kerrigan. So there's 2 big things there that can happen. It's something that when I see on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you can punish Kerrigan, but at the same time, she can land a combo on 2 or 3 heroes, and then all of a sudden, you're looking at something pretty tough.
I mean, you got to make sure to have an aggressive early game with Kerrigan for sure. But now, guys, you know what? That game is looking to get ready. And everything's on the line for both of the teams here, Misfits and Fnatic. The loser goes home. The winner advances to the grand final. So let's throw it over to our casters, Dread and Kaldor, one last time.
The game is ready, and so are we. It's the 5th map between Fnatic and the Misfits, and these drafts promise a very explosive game.
Yeah, Misfits banking it all on the last pick. Kerrigan there for the Dark Mach. He's been carrying so far. Will be able to do it in this last matchup here. On the left-hand side, we're going to have Misfits, where Tyrael will be played by Bombi. Splendor is going to be on the Rhaegar, Dark Mach on the Kerrigan, Nurok on Tychus, and Hasawab's going to be on Sylvanas.
And to the right side of the map, it is Fnatic with Breeze on Muradin. Shrimpy is playing the Lunara here this time, as Quacknix is on Falstad. Whoopi with the Stitches threatening the Hawks, and of course it is Smexy style on Tassadar.
Again, we see this playstyle from Fnatic all the time. It's going to be map manipulation, wave clear, and everything of the like, constantly avoiding team fights with the Bile, Tassadar, Lunara poisoning everything. All right, so we've seen this Fnatic. Why is Misfits picking the Kerrigan as a response? They are almost only banking on Kerrigan counter-killing in the early game and abusing Sylvanas to push harder, putting Fnatic for the first time. I don't think I've ever seen them be on the back foot in the early part of this style of comp.
Misfits, they want to win the early game. If they can, if they use that Kerrigan to get their kills and get the turn in, then Sylvanas can carry them to victory, can start that snowball, and they have to try and pull this off.
I love this choice already coming out from them in the mid lane. They're body blocking the minions, which will keep it a little bit to the left, meaning the kill potential of the Kerrigan is going to be increased because the distance to safety a little bit farther. See, a little bit to the left here. Oh, just enough for Kerrigan. Here we go. See if it matters.
Well, for now, we have the wave tech coming into play. The storm is already in. Here comes Sylvanas, Dartmok with his Kerrigan. He's looking for an opportunity and eats a Stormbolt.
Sadly, Kerrigan didn't even throw out a spell. I was getting really excited. You know, the body block comes in, here it happens. But patience is what Darkmok's going to display here.
Breeze basically saying it stops right here, my friend. Trying to stop them with a Stormbolt, but let's see if that value is going to happen. Dartmok always threatening that combo at the bot lane, though. Falstad versus Sylvanas.
There is a lot of counter kill potential against the Kerrigan if he fails a combo in any way, shape, or form. Not as much as like a Jaina would provide, but there is still quite a bit here. In the bottom half, you're right. The 1v1 here, Hasawab so far has done a very good job in this matchup.
Quacknix is, of course, going to try and just like soak this experience. Then keep in mind that we actually have a map on which Fnatic absolutely thrived in the past. At DreamHack Valencia, they were so strong on Tomb of the Spider Queen, especially with their Lunara. Back then, mostly played by Quacknix, but he finds himself on that Falstad once more. And they have also that Stitches. The combo between the Putrid Bile and the level 13 talent on Lunara. That unfair advantage is fantastic.
This kill potential that Kerrigan's presenting has already changed how Fnatic is approaching this game.
Yeah.
Typically, you see them 4-man deathballing back and forth, but the fear of getting caught out here with the counter wave clear that Misfits has presented has really put them in a position to where Fnatic at least are not rotating the same way they're used to. Combo will be missed.
Fnatic is realizing immediately what the Misfits are trying to do here, and they realize that they could lose this game if Misfits is able to snowball early thanks to a few kills. So they're trying to just like change the pace of the game and also the pace of the rotations.
Yeah, I'd like to see Darkmok sneak bottom after this next rotation here. where everybody else keeps this 1-4 that we've seen so prevalently. Schwimpy not going to get the combo landing onto him. The counter response, Stormbolt hitting onto Darkmonk. I told you, the counter kill potential is high as he is slowly trickling down to almost 0 HP.
Very close escape here. Well done. HotS on the other hand, turning in a few of the coins at the bot lane. So did Falstead. But we can definitely see what a close game this already is in the early game. The potential to take down Lunara. She escapes, and then immediately there's Kerrigan. HotS now attempting to escape, but there is absolutely no chance for him to survive. Yeah, good kill, but he turned all the gems in before it happened.
Yeah, by that is the silver lining here for Misfits, but the fact that the Haunting Wave was used only downwards and not retreat, there's pretty much no way he's going to be able to walk away from that. And so now Misfits, even though they have the kill composition, have fallen behind in the first blood.
Falstead also realizing, of course, the danger of Kerrigan going into Updraft as the level 4 talent. It will also greatly increase his chances to reposition himself during a team fight to get a better angle for the Mighty Gust once that it happens.
And for Stitches, we see Restorative Fumes, which is not too common here. Whenever anybody takes any damage, he'll be healing himself, so we'll see if he gains a lot of survivability value out of that. Barrel roll quickly out of the combo. Darkmonk yet to land one.
Welcome to the Updraft.
Yeah, I mean, Updraft is insanely valuable here against the Kerrigan. He still has kill potential onto even the Falstead, not so much in the 1v1 situation, but as a team. Delay there coming up on Blumby using his mobility. Kerrigan does have his combo available.
Schwimby getting that poison damage, and of course both the teams just dancing around the turn-in points at this time. We see only one kill in this game thus far. It was the kill against Sylvanas. Once more Darkmonk looking for that chance, but Breeze and Whoopi doing their best to deny that. HotS moving into it. Here comes the combi. It comes immediately on Whoopi, but there's absolutely no way they can take down Stitches here.
One of the biggest struggles of running this Death Volley style composition with the Kerrigan is the only type of healing Tassadar excels at is burst. He's the highest single target heal within a 5-second time span out of any other character in the game, putting on a double shield onto one target. So they need to try and maybe bait a shield on the one target, swap where the combo goes. So like, for instance, if he uses his Q in, gets the Ravage, and is able to bait the combo onto somebody else, they have a lot of kill potential. But for now, Darkmonk has looked to be not influential in this fight, as he does have a combo still available at this point, but just gonna get the auto attacks around.
Fnatic is hitting level 7 a bit faster, and just keep in mind that they lost the last 2 maps. For them to come back into this, to have the mindset to say, yes, we can still win this, it is taking an incredible effort. Misfits, they have all the momentum going for themselves, but in this game so far, they didn't really have the impact with their Kerrigan pip that they were hoping for.
Yes, that is definitely the situation here. I'm trying to figure out if I feel like they have a counter kill potential when it comes to the turn-ins, because this map is so small, the rotations, for the most part, outside of if you have a dominant bottom laner, which oddly is not the case in this situation, are predictable. And with the predictable rotations, I feel like Kerrigan loses a bit of value, but she has, when Lunar's looking to get that siege with the nature culling and things of the like, I think that is where we might see Darkmonk kind of thrive for the first time in this game.
Whoopi now with a Toxic Gas on level 7. The synergy between the healing talent on level 4 is there. He will have that sustained during these fights. The team's still looking for the first turn. A lot of gems for the Misfits, but it looks like Fnatic is going to be able to complete the Web Weaver wave first. Can they snowball with it though? That's the big question here. If Whoopi can land one of these hooks, that would be fantastic for them. We saw Blumby earlier doing an incredible job on Stitches. If Whoopi can throw out a couple of the same quality hooks, it would be a massive problem for the Misfits to deal with it.
Every single time that we've seen Fnatic run this kind of strategy, it has just been first turn-in, snowball the game. They've now got their first turn-in. If they get too big of a lead here and we don't see Misfits confirming a kill here or there, I really feel like this game might get out of control in their favor.
The Misfits are looking for that kill. They are looking for it at the bot lane, but once again, Breeze and Bartnix both jump out of the combo. No kills yet for the Misfits. The Web Weavers are there. Mid lane, bot lane, both being pushed right now. We'll be looking for an opportunity to open the gates so they can maybe get that hook at the bottom of the map. Breeze and Bartnix trying to escort the Web Weavers, but with 3 heroes, the Misfits take them down super fast.
Taking out all of the front walls already with this turn-in for their team, almost securing level 10 as well. They're going to be sieging up onto this fort. If they get this, it will be 10 for the team, as we have all four members here for Fnatic. You can see them there.
Quarknix leading his team here. Him and Whoopi doing most of the calling in the team target calls during the fights, oftentimes by Breeze in the warrior role, and they take their fort. They have level 10. They get a bit of snowball. They have an opportunity now to get a double turn in. 55 gems on their side, the exact amount that they need.
And this is exactly what they've done every single time with this composition. I'm amazed that teams have put themselves in a position to where they feel confident going into this, right? Misfits knew something of this like was going to be happening here, and they drafted for that hyper-engage early game, taking the risk, and we'll see.
And yeah, Fnatic in that draft that you just mentioned, committing to the Lunara so super early because they know everybody is aware of the style that they are playing here. Once again, the Web Weavers are descending for Fnatic, but Misfits, they have a lot of gems. If they don't lose heroes here, if they can defend, if they hold a few forts and turn in themselves, they might be able to make that comeback. They're going for level 10. They have the heroic abilities for the defense right now, but once again, Quacknix here leading the team into the mid lane. They're trying to take down another fort, and Falstad himself finds himself in the bot lane together with Breeze. They're going for Hazos, and what an isolation! They're going for the kill, and they take him down. Sanctification being dropped a second too late, and that's the kill and a wasted cooldown.
The only positive out now. Darkmog getting the Ancestral onto him. I don't think he's going to survive. Gut putting him into the wall here. Darkmog is slowly going down near 100 HP. Good Heal's going to be able to keep him up as Blumpy baits it out. The fact that they survived is actually insane, and minimizing their losses by not losing any of the gems.
Insane play here once again, keeping these boys alive. Rhaegar with the heals, Kerrigan surviving somehow, but the bot lane is wide open. Pressure play in the middle of the map as the Web Weavers are still pushing forward. One tower falls. Fnatic is 2 levels ahead right now and slowly moving back. Falstad, the only one who's still dishing out damage, and he takes down fort number 3.
So now the map is opened. Gems are very low for Fnatic. They don't have the turn-in available. They are closing in the 13th tier advantage over their opponent. Hook coming in. That is 49 gems onto Blumpy. And the worst case of Sylv dying in the bottom half, the worst part about it is that all the gems went onto Blumpy, who's their best zoner for getting the turn-in. So now he has to sneak one, but it looks like they're going to try and sneak a fight here, getting very aggressive. Blumpy taking a lot of damage. No sanctification quite yet, just off the cooldown. Will he gain value?
Putic Ball already used the sanctifications on the ground. Breeze jumping out. The level 13 is ready for them, and they obliterate the drill immediately, turning against Misfits. They're looking for that hook. Wooby is waiting. The disengage on the Misfits. The hook dodge. Good cleanse here too, but in this case, the force ball hits home. Blumpy is combo. He just gets away. The combo is Falstad is dead, but what about Wooby? He himself is also about to be taken out. The drop against Tyrael, at least one counter kill, but it's a 2-for-1 trade against a talent advantage. The Misfits showing signs of life.
That was a great job from them taking that team fight, and Darkmog getting the turnaround combo. I was criticizing him and not hitting any combos, but that was the first one, and he really proved that it was worth it here so far with this pick. They have 123 gems for Misfits. This first turn in, they need to snowball with Sylv, open it up, stack another turn in after, and do the exact same thing we've seen Fnatic do over and over again with this composition. Man, Misfits, this is their moment.
The level 13 talent is their problem though. Misfits, they need to snowball that now. That Sylvana value has to be there. If they can kill 1 or 2 heroes with a good Kerrigan combo, that would be the dream at this point. They are opening up the lanes to the bot lane to allow the Web Weavers to push in faster, and Fnatic takes the chance to rotate to the top with Falstad to at least take one of them down. He can fly down, and the Misfits, they're aiming to also get the next talent before they actually face the fight.
Yeah, they're getting a free clear here on the upper 2 maps. If they don't get a bottom 4 here, this is going to be a bad spot for Misfits. I know they're worried about the 13. That wave will barely be able to confirm it for them here. If they're able to clear it up pretty quickly, there it goes. Going to be able to lock it in, and the trickle down. Oh, it's so close, and you know they're worried. Falstad's yet to be able to make the flight rotation either, as he got that clear up there. Port opening up gives him an opportunity to get the turn in. The next turn in.
Nice isolation of Wooby here, and Hazovs is trying to go deep, but they don't have the slow, they don't have the stun. Wooby rotates around and is safe. 13 versus 14, 3 kills against 2. We have the 13 talents right now. Web Weavers at the bot, they're not getting too much, but Fnatic, they are looking for a chance to fight, and they fight Blumpy, but the hook does not hit home.
But Kerrigan goes in, Darkbot trying to isolate Schwimpy, not gonna hit anything. Wailing Arrow completely whipped as well. This is looking terrible as the 4-man sanctification comes into play here, and Fnatic is on the retreat in what looks like an ugly fight.
Stitches goes down, the second combo doesn't hit. There's the Ancestral. Rhaegar again with the play. Breeze jumps out with just a sliver of mana left, barely making the move here. The combo at the beginning didn't hit Lunara, dodging it, and it looked like Kerrigan would be in trouble, but the Sank on the ground saved the rest of the team, and they did so much work against Stitches himself was isolated. Again, Darmok jumps in. They're just dodging wherever they can. They're attempting to disrupt the turn-in approach here. Look at that poison though. Blumpy, he's so low, he doesn't have mana, and the Misfits retreat as fights.
Yes, they do have to back out of this fight, but They have turned around a lot of the experience. Very few gems here available for Fnatic. That strategy of getting the experience lead, just pushing into your opponents, and then getting the turn-in after turn-in to where they can never take a fight in the same tier. This is the closest we've seen any team really be able to keep up with them. Not even getting the stacked early game kills that we expected the Kerrigan to look for. They have managed to turn around these fights, and I'm beginning to wonder if this non-Leoric version can really hold up to the test the same way that we've seen it before.
Well, right now, this is definitely one of the most explosive games that we've seen between the two teams. Back and forth action during these fights. Fnatic winning the first two, Misfits countering 2 victories on their own, and now game number 5. The hook against Dark Poison everywhere. Putrid Ball already thrown out here, and they're going for it once again, trying to get that synergy with the level 13 talent. Lunara with the unfair advantage, dishing out the damage right now, and it's level 16. That is so close for Fnatic. Can they lock in the talent before the Misfits get the turning completed?
They have so much delay, they should be able to get away with it. Darkmok starting the channel, but he's going to get hooked here. That's a lot of DPS going to be put out to him. Again, there is no bio available. Disengage only is going to be the Mighty Gus here as he goes in for the combo on his Swimpy. The Gus and the response for the Wailing Area is gone.
The kill against Lunara, and that's the one hero you can't lose here. The drill is about to die. Doesn't matter at this point. They will get level 16, but they are so low and they have to retreat. Shrimpy, so much hinges on him right now. He's a priority target for Kerrigan, and he just barely is hit by the combo, but it is enough for the Misfits to get that kill. Mercilessly, they are pushing against Fnatic right now. They get the Web Weavers. There will be 16 on the board for Fnatic, but that Sylvanas will get even more structures destroyed.
Again, this is the first time we've really seen a team be able to keep up in the experience and get a lot of counter turn-ins against this style of play. Sieging up in the top half, they still are yet to hit the 16 Wubby. A bit isolated combo is going to be able to miss. So will the Force Wall there, so that is not a pretty situation. Darkmok taking a bit of poke here, but they are priming the map. They are getting 16. Mid will be able to get a large amount of siege here, and after this, you know, they just want to stack the turn-ins, essentially using Fnatic strategy kind of against them with the kill potential here of Kerrigan. Expect him to be looking for a combo if available, especially after the hook.
They go for Rhaegar, they nearly take him down. Already Mighty Gus being used to just push the rest of them away. The poisons are in, but Splendor heals himself. They go in, and here comes the sanctification. Shrimpy with the damage approach. They save Rhaegar. They turn around the tennis. Kerrigan jumps in once again for Falstad. They get the lockdown. Falstad is dead. No way. They heal Kerrigan. How on earth does Splendor do it? He dies, but he saves Kerrigan. Nurok is alive. Heals himself. Darkmok in the backline. Darkmok with a kill. Unbelievable. A triple kill. How on earth? What on earth is happening here? The Misfits with a triple kill. They should have died 5 times over.
What just happened? Sanctification was 0.1 seconds before everybody stacked and used it. Then Ancestral off of the cooldown. Last second, keeping Kerrigan alive.
To be
and then he's abusing the heal every time you thought he's gonna die. He got another one. Meanwhile, we have the Web Weavers pushing bottom the whole time. They now have a structure advantage against Fnatic. What?
With his dying breath, Rhaegar throws out the Ancestral and keeps them alive. Darmok, when he jumped into the backline, how did he get that kill against Falstad? It looked like he would be obliterated. He didn't. He has 60 gems. If they die there, the gems are all gone and it might be game. Fnatic, can they come back from such a fight? The spirit must be broken now.
You're not joking. Darkmok is honestly immortal at this point. As I say that, though, he's going to get hooked. A lot of DPS, no Ancestral, and he proves me absolutely completely wrong.
The Dreadnought curse is heading within a second. He's immortal. Bam, he's dead. He's dying, and that's a chance for Fnatic. This is what they need now. They need these hooks for moving.
They need the hooks from Wubby. They need to apply pressure. If you're looking to Misfits, the fact that he got removed at that point in time takes a lot of the gems away from them as well. Now we only see not even enough for a secondary turn-in after this Web Weaver phase goes down. So it was a moment of hope here for Misfits. They got the turn-in. They're like, yes, this is our moment. We're going to make a lot be able to happen here. Not quite the case here. We still see the map barely open for them. Boss, they do have bottom available. Yep. That is their win condition, that or Boss, but Boss isn't that great because there's a fourth still.
It was one of the most insane fights for sure that we saw earlier that I've ever seen in ESL Storm. That was absolutely crazy what happened there.
I mean, I'd be willing to say that was better than Temple Storm MVP, Dragonshire bottom lane.
That was absolutely brutal.
That was the best fight I think I've ever seen.
Bot lane, the keep at the bot lane is the most important one to take down, because oftentimes in the late game it's all about which team is able to get the boss. Teams posturing at the top lane, and if you take the top keep down, it doesn't give you too much value since you're in that position anyways to defend the wave. But right now, if that situation ever occurs in this game after the teams hit 20, the bot lane will continuously push against Fnatic. Their saving grace in such a situation would be the false stat with a global mobility.
So now, Web Weaver's moving in, all the lanes prime. Top will be the most value considering how far it is for now. Bottom is the longest lane here, so I'd like to see the early clear here for Misfits on the upper half as we see them make that rotation here. And again, it is the boss lane as well, so getting rid of this helps stop the win condition in case they give up a boss here to Fnatic.
Once again, he looks for hook. Once again, Whoopi is there, decides to move to the side, here they come, they go for it, they go for the middle, they're trying to break through that wall, the Web Weaver is on the way, False is the only one who's still at the bottom of the map, trying to help the Web Weavers out with a bit of wave clear that he supplies, he flies into the middle, they're ready for a fight now, 19 versus 18, the hook is missing, the Misfits, they need to dodge, they go in with the holy ground already, Shrimpy putting in the damage, we're seeing Darkmorg waiting for a chance, he tried to flank a bit, seeing if he can maybe jump in, Putrid Bile is on cooldown now. He procced it as is. The keep in the mid lane is still there, and they will save all of them.
That's very important that Bio's going to be off cooldown. That's one of their main disengage tools. Now, Falstad is the only one left, and he's so worried about the Kerrigan combo that you can't expect it to gain too much value here. They're closing in onto the 20. You see Darkmok, he is just waiting. He's in the fog of war. They still yet to see him around there. Not going to be able to strike quite yet, but 20 tier will be picked up for Fnatic. But we still see Misfits has the keep advantage here.
Misfits has that keep, and that's right now the one thing that really sets them apart. Again, the control of the map is in the hands of Fnatic though. That one kill against Kerrigan, when Whoopi hit that one hook, that was so important, and he nearly denied the entire value that the Misfits were trying to get out of their own Web Weaver wave. Right now, the turn-in potential.
We have 4 gems away here for a turn-in on the side of Misfits as they close in 62 out of the 65. Not so close here for Fnatic, but with the lane pressure, it's going to be very visible for a turn-in here on Misfits. Both teams racing towards the 20. Because the lanes are pushing, Misfits should be able to achieve it a bit closer here. But if a team is able to spike a smidge earlier, which should be off this top lane, it could be detrimental towards the next team fight.
What a fantastic game to close this series out. So much pressure now on both of these teams. There's the 20. The 20 in play, and Stitches immediately with a hardened shield. Tassadar with a storm shield. So much more sustain on their part as is already. Galloping Gate. Finally, Shrimpy has another tool how he can get away from Kerrigan if she goes deep to confirm that kill again. And they are looking for that kill, of course. Darkmok is there. Quadnix is fading even a little bit. He's saying, like, I have that updraft ready. Whoopi moving in. Breeze is there. They're trying to go for that fight. Good hook against Nuro, but the force wall is too late.
Yeah, that was a decent amount of resources as well used to try and be able to follow up. Fade there from Darkmok has level 20 as both of the Storm here, so expect him to be looking to try to make big plays. He is absolutely crucial towards their team fight to be able to get a combo onto somebody. Gems are available for a turn-in here for Misfits, but not so much for Fnatic.
And Misfits, they have so much mobility after 20 now. Bob and Weave, double bolt of the storm. Kerrigan just like jumping all over the place right now. We are seeing the Misfits moving in slowly and steadily. The Wisp once again confirming the position here. Falstad moving in with them too. Here's the hook against Tyrael, but they can't follow it up yet.
Falstad is absolutely terrified. The fact that he's willing to fly away, not risk anything. Meanwhile, Hasua's health bar becomes almost non-existent at this point. Splinter's going to be trying to keep him up for a short period of time. We have Catapult sieging on the bottom half.
Great zoning by Misfits, by the way, trying to get those gems turned in. Falstad doing what he's supposed to do. He has the epic mount. He needs to be the one to take care of the bot lane once those catapults start to move in. And the Misfits, of course, confirming now the turn-in.
Top.
They go for it.
Well, we got it. Snitches had 7 gems on him, was able to sneak it in the upper half of the map. That was a very good job here, Fnatic. Possibly a win condition if they're able to get 1 to 2 kills. They have a lot of the waves primed.
Whoopi going for the Putrid Bile. Whoopi, he's about to fall. He's out of position. Whoopi falls. It is the worst possible timing for them to lose the hero. And Darkmok isn't done yet. He's going in. He's going deep. right. He's trying to get the combo. Eats a lot of damage on the sides of Falstead and Shrimpy, but he survives. It is a 5 versus 4 for another 40 seconds with Web Weavers pushing for Fnatic.
And right as Misfits got the last turn in, there was a very good hook onto him, onto Darkmok that confirmed a kill onto him and it allowed them not to get anything. Darkmok says, you got the hook on me, I'll get the pick on you the next time around, negating both of the turn-ins here for these teams. And we do know that there will be a Stitch is dead and Misfits will be able to get a turn-in here, so they'll be able to get a free turn-in or force a 4 vs 5. If they get enough threat through mid or bottom, they could win the game here.
Definitely a massive problem for Fnatic that they didn't get any value out of that turn-in. Yeah, that's wasted gems. Now again, they need to wait for Stitches. Another 11 seconds. Darkmok always looking for that jump. And of course the Misfits can turn in right now. They have the gem count that they need, and that will be fantastic for them.
Yeah, they really do need to open up the map. You know that Fnatic's going to baby bottom. They're worried about that because they know that it's already open, that it can start threatening to the core. So working as hard as they can in the upper half of the map is going to be a free for it. They'll be able to get equal distance for that top web leader here as long as they push as hard as they can. Smart choice from them, making this rotation so far, and it really feels like Misfits is going to be looking to get 1 to 2 picks here, possibly in the game, depending on how much clear happens on mid.
In the end, a lot of this is going to hinge on one more team fight. We're already like 23 minutes into the game. The death timers are super long. A boss could potentially end the game. And right now, both of the teams are just looking for that chance. If the Misfits take down another keep, it would put Fnatic in a super awkward position right now. And Darkmok is leading that charge. He's always presenting that threat to Fnatic.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of babying on the bottom half. They don't want that to be cleared for free because top is going to gain so much value here as it moves down the lanes. Just not letting them clear mid and bottom for free with Fnatic's awesome wave clear. The Nature's Calling comes into play. Just making sure it's not free here is really their main goal. And you see them buying as much time. The bottom web weaver is now going to be in the focus for Fnatic as it is going to be moving up towards the core, and now top could be another keep.
Great job with the defense so far. Good job with the defense. Top lane is also going to be defended now. And yeah, they will set up a bit of a bait there. But we have the Wisp, we have so many, we have the hook as well. You can't really just set up in that brush over there in the team and expect your opponent to not throw that hook. And if that hits, you could actually start losing a hero.
The fact that they didn't prime top wave by taking out the fort and pushing as far as they can, knowing their opponents are going to be babying on bottom, was a huge misplay. It allowed them to be in a situation where they got, I don't know, pretty much nothing out of a late game. This is a 24-minute team fight. Now they're like, well, boss is the win condition available for us. And they're like, well, there's an Oracle, there's a Wisp. They have no way to be able to take that for free. And it's not like Giants are going to be your saving grace here at any point. Misfits is just banked on winning a team fight to win the game.
The best moment with the Wisp was that the Wisp was at the top left of the boss itself. Tychus couldn't see that, trying to hide there. So Fnatic is not looking for the heroes. He's looking if the boss moves, so that they know if the boss is attacked. And they see that now. That hook can be thrown. Whoopi is getting in position. Fawcett is flying in, not overshooting here just yet. But Whoopi is waiting for that long distance hook. If he gets a chance, he will try to isolate. And hooks in this late stage of the game are so frightening, so threatening to the opponent.
Yeah, Darkmok is looking for a combo as well. On the Smex, he will be able to get the E-hook. Is going to miss. Great dodge coming out from Darkmok there over the wall. If they buy enough time, they might be able to stack catapults on bottom, but that's not going to be for some time here. As we see him go in and get the combo onto Luminar. Sanctification coming out, Calder.
Sanctification's on the ground. Misfits have to be disengaging here though, because Shrimpy is still alive. It was a great combo against him, but he's still alive and Breeze is looking for it. This is the hook that they might have needed. They go for Norok. The gust is there. They're trying to blow Tychus up, but guess who's back? It's Kerrigan. She goes for the combo. Breeze is on the run. His healing static keeps him alive a bit longer. He jumps out. What a battle once again, and Splendor sacrificing the cooldown on his Ancestral. Hook against Shrimpy, and it is a kill against Lunara.
And as he Breeze falls as well, this is going to be it. I don't think Fnatic is going to be able to stop it. They're trying to buy as much time as they can, getting so much value, but with 3 people dead, 2 catapults already on the core, Misfits is hungry to be able to lock this down and take it on, moving on to the grand finals.
Ditches down, 3 heroes dead, the Misfits. They want to go up against Dignitas. They want to have a chance in the grand final to qualify for BlizzCon. The end of Destiny, the end of the game. The Misfits take it. It's a fatal victory. They go to the final. They will face Team Dignitas.
Absolutely the best team fight I've ever seen in my entire Heroes of the Storm career. Darkmok, honestly, I was impressed by this player. His numbers are some of the highest in the European scene, but he legitimately just maybe put Dami to shame on that Kerrigan. I'm not kidding. That team fight was ridiculous. Everyone's teamwork and coordination, I have never felt so proud to see a team be able to pull away a game after that. Misfits, so well deserved.
Unbelievable fight there. They win 3 games in a row.
The reverse
sweep. 3 games. Think about how strong you have to be mentally to be down 2 games in a best-of-5 series and then say, no, we still got this, and you win all 3 remaining maps. Unbelievable play from the Misfits.
Dark Mach has to be the MVP of that series. Not only that last team fight, but it felt like the Illidan game. Anytime they were doing very well, it was all because of him. And only the times where it felt like they were maybe on the back foot, it felt like he wasn't necessarily in a role where he could be that influential. So
keep in mind that the Misfits are not at BlizzCon
they
yet.
aren't.
Not yet. They need to beat Dignitas. If they don't beat Dignitas, there will be a deciding game between Fnatic and the Misfits. Fnatic isn't out yet, but it's a crushing defeat regardless.
Yeah, you see Schwimpy there trying to channel his energy to Dignitas because that's the last lifeline for him. But after that amazing series, we're going to have to see what our panel has to say about those matches.
Guys.
I think before we get to the panel, we're going to actually get a word from Hasu. Are you okay? Do you need a moment? That was pretty intense.
It was. I don't know, we reverse sweep them, so it's pretty crazy actually. I think it never happened so far in the Heroes regional finals.
Yeah, so 3-2. Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about game 1 and game 2. Game 1, you guys stuck with your tried and trusted setup. They kind of had the answers for it. And then game 2, you guys looked like you were on tilt in there. Talk to me about the pressure you were under.
I don't think we really tilted, but we tried the same draft again, kind of, at least. Like we had Jaina again and Tychus, I think, and they got the Falstad, Lyric, Sylvanas. And after the second map, we figured that we need to take some parts away, because if they get the Lyric, Falstad, and Sylvanas, they are actually super confident, and they crushed us on the first 2 maps, so we knew we have to change something in the draft. And I think we actually just started to ban Lyric, and it worked out pretty well.
Okay, let's talk about the last game. Backwards and forwards. The commentary team said it was probably one of the greatest team fights they've ever seen in Heroes, full stop. Just talk us through it from your point of view.
So before the game started, I told everyone they have no cleanse. So every Kerrigan combo we hit is followed up by silence, and there's not much they can do. And the biggest danger was actually the hook. And we had some really big fuck up when Darkmok got hooked on level 16 or 17, I think. Because we also paid, and it set us back quite a lot, but I knew that without cleanse, we are like super dangerous in every team fight, and you could see the beauty. Like the Kerrigan goes in, we use Sanct, we use silence, and then the team fight evolves, and we should actually win almost every team fight if it goes like that.
But incredible team fight from both teams. Have you got a few words for Fnatic? Because they are a great team. You've had some amazing matches with them in 2016.
Yes, they are a really good team. And I'm good friends with them, so I feel a bit sad that they lost, but I mean, that's how it is in competition. Someone has to win, and I'm happy that we did it.
No friends in competition, that's for sure. Let's look forward to the final, because there's much more on your mind at the moment. It's not just the final, it's not just winning this event. It's the road to BlizzCon that you're all concerned with as well. How much extra pressure has that put on you and the team?
We didn't really think about the final yet, but I mean, obviously did. We want to win. We have some drafts prepared. We scrimmed a lot with Dignitas, so we know them very well. But they had some surprising stuff, actually. But yeah, I think we will take it. We are very hyped, and there's a lot of positive energy right now, and I think we will take it.
And with the crowd behind you as well. Good luck. Thank you very much, Hasu. Let's head over to our panel and find out what they made of a best of 5 that went all the way.
Thank you very much, Red-Eye, and congratulations to Misfits. They did it. They beat Fnatic, something that they couldn't do in the first regionals. They fell victim to Fnatic there. And it's going to be a really intense finals against Dignitas. It's basically the old rivalry between Dignitas and Misfits, formerly known as Mind Sandy, of course, guys. And is there something that we can say to Fnatic, though? Because they gave us one hell of a show, and I'm pretty sure that they have much more to come for the next couple of tournaments.
They got so close.
Yes.
So close.
2-0 against Misfits. That's a pretty tall task, and you get up 2-0, and then you drop 3 games. That's got to be pretty heartbreaking. I don't know that there's a lot that you can necessarily say. I mean, obviously, we already heard from Kaldor, but I think that they still have to hold their heads high. This is Misfits, top 4 at Summer Global Championship. They won the last regional. It's a very tough team to go out against, and they're just so close.
I guess keep going. They're the clear number 3 in Europe, and they showed some good things, and it has to be really disappointing, but now we have a clear top 2 here in Europe in Dignitas, and Misfits, who both beat Fnatic actually in this tournament. So I guess we get to find out which one of the 2 is the best right now, which is pretty cool here in the finals.
Even in that last game, it started out so good for Fnatic. They had a team that would dominate in late game, or so we thought. They got a couple turn-ins, they were taking down structures, everything looked great for them, but whether nerves or something fired up in Misfits, I mean, I know that it definitely fired up in Darkmok.
I was going to say, or it could have been Darkmok.
Gosh, between his Illidan and his Kerrigan,
at some point, I was like, hey, is that Dami or is it actually, oh wait, it's Darkmok.
I mean, these team fights were so clutch, and yet Misfits played it so well. It really reminded me of Korean Heroes of the Storm at some points.
I think that it reminded me of Darkmok. We actually talked about him, about that's what he was known for those melee assassins. And this is actually one of the things where he just re-announced himself as the best melee assassin in Europe.
Absolutely, and Jeho, I can't wait to see what you've got prepared for us in the replay.
I think it's a little bit of everything from Misfits that we have. This was actually the fight that kind of sealed the deal. You can see that they get quite a bit of damage, as you can see the sanctification, and they just go all in, and they can't quite secure the kill. But you see Lunara having to drop back. This was actually quite the prolonged fight. But you can see all of Fnatic starting to come in. The drill already down. They're trying to poke it down. Remember, this is post 20. The hook that lands. The mighty gust that's there. Nurok isolated. He's going to die, right? No. He continues to go. And now all of a sudden, Fnatic is scrambling. Breeze doing what he can to stay alive. Nurok receives the ancestral healing. They continue their pursuit. And look at the range there from Kerrigan. Darkmok, that is a talent choice. It allowed him to make plays in the late game. And those moments from Darkmok, he started that fight, and he basically ended that fight with that kill right there.
And actually, earlier on in the game, Lunara did a fantastic job of dodging these combos, but then later on we saw a couple of those finally coming to play, and you said it perfectly. That was the perfect engage, because he didn't get the takedown on Lunara, but she was forced to go back, and then there was a drill covering her entrance into the fights. And also Fastad was a little bit late, and as he got there, he couldn't even gust because Sanctification was used at that time. So it was just a great engagement altogether by Misfits, and they showed that in these fights, in high-pressure situations, they always make the most of those. Their heroics line up perfectly, and they take a big win here with this.
With that solo task, it's a composition that we've seen Fnatic play a lot of times, but it's an unforgiving one. And Schwimpy can dodge combo after combo, but the one that hits, it's Lunara. She's going to drop so fast, and there's not very much other than hoping that your preemptive shielding can carry her through that.
Yeah, and guys, if you've just tuned in and you don't really know what's going on, we've got you covered. We're going to take a look at the bracket here at the playoffs. I mean, everything's on the line now, slowly but surely, for Team Dignitas and Misfits. Both of those teams managed to overcome their opponents. Fnatic and Misfits, of course, was a glorious best of fives, but here, that's what matters. Misfits in the finals, Dignitas in the finals. And oh boy, do these two teams know each other well.
If I could just, we're doing best of 5. I'd take a best of 7, best of 9. I don't care.
Just give it.
Watching these two teams go up, they're very familiar with each other. They're familiar with each other's drafts. They're familiar with each other's play styles. And then when you have teams that are that familiar and this much on top of their game, guys, you know that you're going to get a great set. We just had one. We're going to be treated with another.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely crazy, guys. And Gilly, I know you've normally you cover a lot of the NA scene, right? But is there anything that stands out when it comes to the European Heroes of the Storm scene that may actually make it different towards the NA scene? Like anything that we see here that's different from NA?
Well, some of the solo tasks at our play, that's not something we ever see there. Something that's similar to NA is the awesome Li Ming plays. We've seen a lot from Fnatic, but over in NA too. But across the board, these regionals have been fantastic. I'm sad to see that we're already at the grand finals, but I know that this grand finals is going to be incredible because these teams have been playing such fantastic games all weekend long.
Absolutely, and you know what, guys out there, you do us a favor. You use that hashtag HTC and you let us know who you think is going to take the title here at the second European Regionals live from Gamescom Cologne. It is really hard to predict, I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm pretty sure that some of the viewers, especially Twitch chat, can pull it off. So without further ado, guys, be patient one more time because we're going to go into a short commercial break, but we will come back stronger than ever.